Welcome in to a Wednesday morning here on the Jordy Culotta Show, live here from the UDL.
Right,
yeah, we're on time.
Always on time.
On time. It's all good.
Never late.
It is a busy Wednesday here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We have got a lot to get to. We appreciate you starting your day with us. If you don't mind, hit that like, share, comment, interact with us here on YouTube, Facebook, Jordy Culotta Show. Mikey Montook is a day older here, and we are celebrating Brian Kelly being paid by LSU. We knew that LSU was going to have to open up the checkbook. They make Kelly the highest paid coach at a public university in the country and will pay him $95 million in total in base salary. It is through bonuses and through bowl appearances and retention of classes.
$500,000 a year if he makes a bowl.
Love that.
They really snuck some money in this contract.
Trace Armstrong's the agent on this thing. Armstrong is kind of Jimmy Sexton without the ego. Right?
Oh, okay.
But don't
like
get
the
me wrong.
agents.
Don't get me wrong. He's got huge ego. You just don't know about it in the public.
That's good. That's the best way to do it.
Right.
Every agent needs an ego.
And Trace Armstrong is a former player, and is the one that's working behind the scenes with Brian Kelly. For this contract to be finalized. So a lot to get to. Kelly's going to be introduced today at noon. We will be there from the Jordy Culotta Show. Looking forward to hearing from everybody that's been involved in this search. I'd imagine that Scott Woodward and the executive staff will be there, an introduction of Brian Kelly, and get to meet Coach Kelly, who landed in Baton Rouge yesterday in front of a pretty rowdy scene at the Baton Rouge airport. It was the band was there.
I got to have dinner with BK last night.
And then Montook celebrated his birthday. And the first night that Kelly was here, he said, "You know what? I want to talk to the former center fielder All-American.
He sat down. Right
first things first. Set him up a table at Gino's in front of the piano. Kelly was there last night. His first restaurant, his first place that he eats at is at the Italian joint. He knows the job done. He knows who he's got to make happy in the city. As Gino and the boys last night were hosting Scott Woodward, Brian Kelly, and the administrative team over there from LSU. And Montook was celebrating his 24th birthday and saw the crew up there. What was the spirits like? Anybody boozing?
Yeah, they're boozing. Yeah. Gino had to come to the good part of the wine.
He said he had to go to the back to get the good wine.
I got this bottle. You know, he doesn't. Gino probably has that.
I'm gonna go to the cellar.
Yeah, 2003, like Mr. Saban.
Yes. No. You had Scotty Boy was happy.
He should be.
He was shaking hands. He was smiling. People were like this. It went from 24 hours, people wanted him gone, to I love you.
He should be.
He is smiling. He
our friend
Galen
Iverstein, who's been here a couple of times, owns Iverstein's Butcher Shop over there on Perkins Road. It's a great little spot. Told a great story. He said a couple of weeks back he had hired a new guy who was working the front desk for him over at Iverstein's, and somebody walks in. They're just, hey, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, what's going on? And I'm just kind of paying attention to this LSU coaching search, and the new guy behind the counter is like, I really feel like the administration is going to F this thing up. I really do. I really think like they're going to get this thing wrong, man. I'm so scared on who they're going to hire. I've got no confidence in anybody that's making decisions over there at LSU. And the guy gets to check out and says, I appreciate it. I love your product, Scott Woodward from LSU Athletics.
Oh, no.
They both started laughing about it. And just kind of laughing about that.
Hey, that's awesome with Scott too. That's like
a good story.
That's like Scott's like he's so confident and sure of himself that that's funny.
Played along, went along with it.
Hey, that doesn't bother me because look, I want you because that means they want LSU to succeed. They're passionate. So it's like, look.
I mean, that's why you come back here, right?
I heard a similar story that he was down at his duck camp. Remember the stories, the tales of him being duck hunting over the last 2 weeks have just been out of control. And he's down there at the duck camp, and he's down there with Clyde, and he went with Jared Small, the linebacker. Yeah. Small and Edwards-Helaire are guests of Scott Woodward over at his duck camp, and they're duck hunting down there in South Louisiana. And somebody shows up from Bro Bridge, or like Kaplan, like over there.
Oh, this is
like an exclusive
they don't care.
duck hunting club. I think kind of everybody got the mindset of, look, man, let's not talk business with the
it's like
business
the president
people
coming
here.
To the golf course.
And as soon as they sit down to eat breakfast, like one of these cats from like Road Bridge, so hey Scotty, who you gonna hire? And Scott just picks his meal up and goes and sits outside on the porch and follows him out there. Clyde follows him out there and sits down. But he handled this process, I thought, really good, because he had to feel the walls closing in on him publicly over the last probably 72 hours of this, when people were really starting to bail off of him. Like, this guy's a fraud, big game hunter, whatever. He's getting played. I mean, all the stuff that was being said out there in the public, and then for him to close on his guy had to be a feeling of like Matuk's painting last night, where he's in the Italian joint shaking hands. He's got the brandy in his hand. He's swishing it around. It's a good night,
you
man.
You want to know the details? I'll tell you the details.
You think he's a stogie guy?
Probably last night. Yeah, probably last night.
I think when the deal was inked, him and BK had a nice.
You could smoke a stogie on the plane.
No, it was before. It was before.
You know what? If you're paying for this thing, man, we can do whatever we want.
Get that picture.
But yeah, looking forward to seeing and hearing from Brian Kelly today. That'll be at noon. We got a really good guest list today. Joey Mulinaro, who is from Indiana. He's up in that part of the country. Has followed Notre Dame football and obviously a huge LSU fan. Will be here at 7:30. He's a master impressionist from Barstool Sports, one of our favorite. He'll patch back in with us at 7:30 this morning. Then at 8 a.m., the GOAT's GOAT, Jimmy Burrow. Joe's dad will be here at 8 o'clock this morning. Remember, Jimmy, longtime defensive coordinator up at Ohio University, which Ohio is in town tonight for the basketball game, which Brian Kelly will be introduced at half. Looking forward to seeing the environment tonight inside the Maravich Center against a really good basketball team. Got to be. But we'll talk to Jimmy Burrow at 8 a.m. this morning. We'll ask him about game planning for Brian Kelly, as he was the longtime defensive coordinator for the Ohio Bearcats and has really good experience. And like we've always talked about, the coaching fraternity is so tight. It's so tight that I'm sure he's got some pretty good stories and can tell us a little insight on Coach Kelly. And we'll also ask him about the Bengals, as the Bengals bludgeon the Steelers last Sunday, as Joey and the boys were rolling. As you can feel kind of the power shift up there in that part of the country of, Pittsburgh has been such a dominant force as being just a part of the top of that league.
How much has Joe Burrow unlocked Joe Mixon?
Just that entire Bengals.
Really, what about Boyd?
Franchise.
Tyler Boyd.
Joe Mixon.
Higgins.
Joe Mixon you think Joe Mixon's been in the league for a long time. He's only 24. So he's still young. And everybody thought he was supposed to be the most, and he's been solid, but dude.
He can do it all. He can do everything kind of coming out of
but
Oklahoma.
that's all because,
Joe Burrow unlocks the offense.
He puts him in the right position.
He gives you so much confidence, man.
Dude, it's
the confidence that he feeds into everybody is just crazy how infectious it is. And then Nick Underhill will talk to New Orleans Saints in the second hour today, so always love catching up with Underhill to get the latest in the news on what's going on with New Orleans. As they got a quick turnaround here, or not a quick turnaround. They played last Thursday, but they'll play Thursday again versus the Dallas Cowboys, and it looks like Taysom Hill's going to start.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we'll see and get some storylines on Dallas, New Orleans with Underhill. Remember, every day, Go Chevrolet drives us. GEAUX Chevrolet.com. The boys are online. They're also down in LaPlace with a brand new car shop here in Baton Rouge. A new car is over in LaPlace, and here in Baton Rouge, the used car lot over on Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. And Go Chevrolet drives us. True Blue Water every day. Get on the delivery route. Get on the delivery route at trubluewater.com. Our coffee is Majestic Coffee, DeliciousSips.com, and our official spice is Papa Earl's, 30% less sodium than the competition. Anywhere you shop locally, you can pick up Papa Earl's. And our phone line, as always, Metropolitan Health Group, our friends Jason Ramazan and, of course, Charlie Harvey over there at Metropolitan Health Group. All of our guests today, whether it is Joey Mulinaro coming up here, Nick Underhill in the second hour, or Jimmy Burrow at straight up 8 a.m., all of that is provided by Metropolitan Health Group with Ramazan and Harvey. What are we expecting today from Brian Kelly? First off, this stuff is really becoming real now, as we got a lot of the details of the contract, and the Advocate has it posted this morning But as we said, highest paid coach at a public university in the country. Kelly's contract going to give him a base pay in about $95 million, $95 million total in this. Total compensation to about $105 million over the life of the 10-year deal, which made him the first public school coach with a 9-figure deal. Kelly's salary will start at $9 million during the first season, then it will rise incrementally up through 2031. Obviously, there is additional compensation bonuses for SEC titles, national championships, an additional $500,000 in base for amount of wins that he has.
Does this make you think that the deal was already done? Because if the numbers are right at USC, or you would, if the numbers are right that we offered Lincoln Riley that much money, you would assume that since that came out, he would have gotten more if this happened after, right? Like, he got $95 million. Mel Tucker got $95 million.
Wow, no.
You know what I mean? So Mel Tucker got 10 for 95. Brian Kelly got 10 for 95. Who's the better coach, right? Brian Kelly should have more money. That tells me that this may have been done longer than we think.
You have to factor in all of the ancillary money that can be able to be worked in, because it worked it up to, what was it, $105 million?
Yeah, no doubt. A year?
No, not a year, but I'm just saying over the life.
Right,
so he's going to end up being paid more than Mel Tucker if he has a successful
right, but the
tenure.
initial 10 for 95 is like, of course he can get paid more than Mel Tucker. He should. Yeah. But it shouldn't even be like, Mel Tucker's not even in that realm yet. Like, Mel Tucker's like the up-and-comer. He's not the, hey, I'm doing it and still doing it guy.
I think that's what happens when you're in Michigan State and you have to pay to if you think you have the guy, this is the time to throw the bag at him.
No doubt. I'm just saying, I think our money.
Yeah, we got a better deal. Is what it seems like.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just think maybe this was agreed upon, maybe like loosely, money wise, and this is, I don't know. I don't think this happened overnight.
Do you think we'll ever know the timeline to anything like this? He'll keep just because
it's fun. I like it. I don't want to know. I want to keep speculating.
I mean, maybe somebody writes a book 25 years from now. Yeah. 20 years from now.
If it's like chaos, I would love that's a book.
Well, I think that there had to be like a 48-hour period of
where it got a little murky.
Just like what are we going to do? You know, what's going to go on? I mean, if those details of the Lincoln Riley loading up the plane and and wanting to go over there and then circling and saying, you know what, we're not touching down because there's not going to be a meeting. I'd love to get the details of that. You know what I mean? I'd love to kind of just get the understanding. And then how Scott Woodward said, as they're probably circling over Norman, like, F this. Take me to South Bend. Let's close this deal with Brian Kelly.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'd love to see if that's just kind of how this thing transpired.
Whoever's up for a reroute?
Whoever gets the book deal it'll be phenomenal.
Bruce Feldman, get on it.
Rabelais.
Yeah,
maybe possibly. Let's see here. I know some people asking about if it doesn't work out. Let me see. And I'm just reading this, and I'll try to get you more on the buyout. But if LSU fires Kelly without cause, school will owe him 90% of his remaining salary. However, it will owe him his entire remaining salary and the prorated longevity bonus if LSU fires him without cause after Kelly has won a national championship. That is a caveat to that. LSU will not have to pay Kelly if it fires him with calls.
If he wins a national championship.
If he wins a natty. I don't know if that answers the question on the buyout. I'll try to get you that information.
It's at the bottom.
If Kelly leaves LSU while Woodward is still the athletic director, Kelly will have to pay the school. If Kelly leaves LSU while Woodward is still the athletic director, Kelly will have to pay the school. He would owe $4 million next year, $3 million in 2023, and $2 million on any other year left in the contract. Kelly will not owe LSU anything if he leaves and Woodward is no longer the AD. That's some strange language.
No, I think that's just more about like, hey, I'm going to be here for the long haul. You're my guy. You're here for the long haul. You come in. We're in this thing together. I'm not leaving. So you don't have to worry about me leaving, because I think that's the only reason Brian Kelly's going, is because, to me, that makes me think that Brian Kelly only agreed to come here because Scott Woodward.
Right. They're tethered together now.
Yeah, for sure.
They're forever tied together through this contract.
I don't see it as a sketchy thing or anything like that. You can,
no, it's a way for
it's a way for like it, but it's not.
It's a way for both of them to cover themselves, right? It gives Scott Woodward some outs on the back end if Kelly is able to be successful very early on in his tenure. And this 10-year deal, it doesn't seem like it's going to work out to be $110 million with all the escalators, because I don't see Kelly coaching for 10 years. So all of that money that he'll add if he gets SEC championships, bowl game appearances, national championships, all those escalators go away in those last 3 years that you don't have to pay him. When then he inevitably retires, in my mind. I don't see him making that all 10.
Additionally, LSU will give Kelly 2 courtesy vehicles or 2 car allowances worth $1,000 a month. What are you taking?
The 2 courtesy vehicles.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chevrolet. I'm telling Nick Richard to give me the top of the line Suburban.
I mean,
or
that's
Tahoe,
Give
whatever.
me the Spark, baby.
And a Spark for the kid.
That's what you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay $1,000 on the basically if you the top of the line, it's gonna pay almost $1,000 a month.
No doubt
anyway,
about it.
So
an interest-free loan up to $1.2 million in order to buy a house within less than 30 miles of LSU's campus. That's tight.
That's the
Interest free. What does that mean, Jordy? What is it, mortgage wise?
On to the next one.
that question.
Yeah, right. 50 hours of travel on LSU's private planes, relocation funds, and the costs. So moving expenses.
That's normal.
You think? Do you think Coach O made him cut down the mileage on that plane after he's like, well, Coach, I didn't even really use the thing.
He never did.
You never used it.
Never
So it used
did.
to be 100 miles. Now it's
He never
down to 50.
did. And the cost of Kelly's buyout at Notre Dame, which is not specified because, of course, Notre Dame is a private school. So a hell of a contract for BK, who also looked like he was wearing a baseball cup yesterday when he got off the plane. I don't know if it's myth, legend, or tale, but great PR for my guy. Great PR for my guy on the first day. Who looks like he's hung like Secretariat with the wind blowing into him and his family yesterday. I mean,
he's excited for the job.
He's already got a viral moment, and he hadn't even called a play yet.
Good for him.
Great for him.
Yeah.
Great for him. I mean his wife's
carry...
smiling ear to ear.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. But welcome to Baton Rouge, Brian Kelly. It's a hell of a contract, man.
Wait, we were talking about this yesterday. We were watching the show. We were watching him get off the plane, and we were having this conversation in a little group chat, and I talked about it yesterday with Rebecca. Do you think that the greatest recovery of stairs of all time? Do you think he stumbled down, or was he just attacking those things?
That was. I'm
because
telling you,
it's 50-50.
I think he missed, or he didn't miss. He
like
almost missed.
Yeah.
The first step, which kind of put him into a gear of, I got to collect myself.
He skipped a gear.
And, bro, 60 years old. That
was good.
After sitting on a plane for probably 3 hours.
Yeah, that was nice. That was pretty
Maybe a little
he came up a little hot, just kind of caught himself, and then got to the tarmac and really showed good footwork, I thought.
Hey, and good poise. You didn't see the facial expression change. He got there, got him down. He's like, okay. Because you get to that thing, you feel your stomach drop. You're like,
shit.
Your eyes get bigger
absolutely.
or something. No,
You start to realize the moment that you're
I mean, you're kind of falling back.
Yeah.
He caught himself falling back. I really thought it was very impressive.
Because we've all been in that moment when you kind of miss the step going down. Like you're either going to a party, going like cocktail, you're kind of dressed up, you're ready to go, and you don't see the step coming up. You're like, oh, and then you catch and carry that momentum. Like, oh, coming in hot, how we doing?
Right.
So you kind of have
Still
to
an
play it
athlete,
off.
boys.
Yeah, still got to play it off a little bit.
Could
have been an all-timer.
It could have been an all-timer.
And then you don't get the BDE moment.
Like you get called up on stage or something, and like you're going, you just fucking.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it be any worse in like your first day on the job. I mean, like you're being
that's what I mean. Like
you're being introduced to this new fan base and this new public, and your first step off the plane, you bust your ass. I mean, that
would be a bad.
I don't think it's ever happened.
The worst. I don't think it's ever happened either. I know that they gave,
and
the worst I can think of was at like the Florida National Championship thing for the basketball team, where like they were passing around, and they dropped it. You know what I mean?
The trophy drops happen.
Yeah, the trophy drops happen, but I can't think of somebody
busting ass.
It was close. It was a great, but the story it was a great save.
He had the recovery.
It was a great recovery.
Or he was just amped to get off that plane, but he looked great. Either way, it was athletic.
All right, we'll talk a little Notre Dame and Brian Kelly here with Joey Mulinaro, who is up in that part of the country, grew up there, and has been following Notre Dame football for a long time. We'll ask him about some of the stories of Kelly's personality and kind of how it translates to the locals. Remember, Daily, we are brought to you by A-Bear Specialty Meats. A-Bear Specialty Meats, located now in Robert's grocery store. I was over at Little Jay's basketball practice yesterday, and one of the dads came up and said, man, appreciate you reminding me about A-Bear's being back in Baton Rouge. He lived on Highland Road and said now it's almost a daily task to stop into Robert's and pick up something to grab. for dinner, something easy to cook on, links of sausage, boudin, crackling, all of that now in the great selection area over there at Robert's Grocery Store. Wow.
Yeah.
Robert's Grocery Store, located, it was an oyster that I just hacked up.
Talk through it, dude.
Over there on Highland Road, inside of the Kenilworth Shopping Center, right next to Superior Bar and Grill. Robert's, of course, over in Geismar as well on Highway 73, but now here back in Baton Rouge.
That was the worst one of all time.
That was bad. That was bad.
Happens.
Robert's. Not like that.
It's the weather
Not
change.
like that.
It's the weather
Not
change.
like that. I just woke up about 25 minutes ago.
Hey,
Still
it comes out.
Hey,
Still
that's what
catching it.
happens.
Comes out.
Yes.
Just need to get.
Wow.
Need a cigarette. You'll be fine.
Shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
Joey Mulinaro next
Gargle
here on the
some
Jordy
salt
Culotta
water.
Show. Go Chevrolet. Happy 1-year anniversary to Nick
Hey.
Richard, Lee Carney, and the crew, man. As we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary, they are celebrating theirs at Go Chevrolet. And you've seen the brand really grow from their home in LaPlace, Louisiana, where they started, to Baton Rouge, and now up to Tennessee. And the Jordy Culotta Show and Go Chevrolet has been tied together the entire time. We appreciate it, fellas. Congratulations on the 1-year anniversary. You see Nick Richard right there in the chat. Tell him congratulations from all of us inside of the bunker. We'll be back with Joey Mulinaro right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet, celebrating their 1-year anniversary down there in LaPlace. Shout out to Nick, Lee, and the entire crew. We've been driven by Ghost Chevrolet every day here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We appreciate that. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary and got some cool stuff planned for you coming up, and we will be from the new DL, our new studio, which is going to be cool, man. One of our favorites is Joey Mulinaro. He is a master impressionist up at Barstool Sports. He's been a friend of the show since we've been launched, going back to our radio days. And he's got a lot of cool stuff going on up at Barstool. You can follow him on Twitter. He's got a great YouTube channel that you can click on right there from his Twitter account. I saw him doing a little bit of quarterbacking yesterday inside of his living room, which was tight. The LSU helmet. It'll be fun to patch up with our guy here. Joey, good morning. How are you?
Jordy, I am excited. I am in the Christmas spirit.
Love that.
I feel like Santa came early and left us a nice little size surprise with Brian Kelly being the new head coach at LSU. Man, I am fired up. I'm rocking my purple and gold up here in Indy. I went into a bar in the north side of Indianapolis that's right down the street from a Catholic high school, so you know everybody loves Notre Dame up there. I was wearing my LSU gear last night, and I had some people giving me some looks.
I love that.
But that's what it is, man. I'm excited as hell.
Joey, one of the first texts that I got from you on this was kind of dispelling the notion of Kelly's personality and the fit. That's kind of been one of the major concerns down here. I loved what you said about it and just kind of how that has evolved over the years. You've been following Notre Dame football your entire life, just living in that part of the country, especially for the last 12 seasons since Kelly has been in control. Can you just kind of give us some insight on that part of Brian Kelly and kind of where that is now?
Yeah, dude. Look, I mean, like I texted you, even if you're not a Notre Dame fan, from where I'm from, it's just a part of life. I mean, people, you have your Saturday Notre Dame watch parties that people are like, you going to the Notre Dame watch party down the street, in your neighborhood, in your community. It's just a part of it. You know what I mean? And so, like, you're in tune with what's going on with Notre Dame up here, even if you aren't rocking, the green and the blue and the gold. And you're right. I heard you guys talking about it yesterday and on Sunday night. When Brian Kelly first came over from Cincinnati, he was younger. He felt like he needed to really lay the hammer down to try to turn that program around. Because Jordy, a lot of people aren't talking about this, I feel like. But being up here in Notre Dame land, before Brian Kelly got to Notre Dame, it was irrelevant of the irrelevant.
Yeah.
It was dead.
Right.
It was a doormat.
Yeah.
It was 3-9, 6-6, 6-6. I mean, people were talking about this Notre Dame program like it was like, the glory days are very well past them, and they're never going to even get close to getting back into the contention for a national championship, let alone be undefeated or anything like. 3 years into the job, Brian Kelly has them undefeated in the national championship.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the personality stuff. I get it. I know that it's funny on Twitter to have him with the red face and have the memes, and that guy came out with the photo last night of him flipping off, whoever on the
What
sideline.
a move by that guy, by the way.
Right. I get it. But that's what I said to you. I was like, that's a very 2011, 2012 kind of narrative about Brian Kelly. Like, it works well on Twitter, but like the last 8 years, 7 years, it really hasn't been that way. Like, he may be kind of smug, it seems, to the media or whatnot, but he's definitely not Saban when it comes to the media.
Sure.
And if you watch him on the sideline, his demeanor that he has with his players, and they talk about it damn near every week on the NBC broadcast about how he's toned things down, and he's grown with his job at Notre Dame, and he's become more mature in his later state. He has, and I think that reflects the job that Notre Dame has done on the field. I mean, the last 5 years, we know what it is: 10 win, 11 win, 10 win, college football playoff. Right now, had the number 4 recruiting class, like you guys talked about, at Notre Dame, which I gotta say, you were a little harsh on South in the past couple of days. Just a little bit. The armpit of the world.
That was bad. That was
Hyperbole.
bad.
I get the hyperbole. That's
bad.
fine.
That was bad.
We're personalities. We're media hosts. We got to do that sometimes. But you get up
That
there
was
on a
shock
nice
jockey.
October-
That was shock jockey.
you get up there on a nice October day.
I'll bet.
I'll back South Bend for that. But
Right.
the point is, like I'm saying, is I think that is a very Twitter run with 2011, 2012. Oh, this jackass who's coming down here. It's not going to be that way. I think today at the press conference, people are going to come away being like, oh, this isn't the Brian Kelly that I see on Twitter and that people talk about and make fun of. So,
Right.
I'm excited. That's not I don't have a worry about that at all. Just somebody who has grown up with friends, family, fans of the program, people who are in the program. That's not a worry to me at all.
When I think of like this CEO type of football coaches, I think Belichick and Saban. I think that they're kind of in a class by themselves. But when I think of that type of personality, I think of Brian Kelly. I thought that long before LSU hired him. What does LSU get? Like, it seems like they're getting like a master organizer, taskmaster. I mean, somebody that is very disciplined about running a football program.
Yeah, no, nailed it, spot on, 100%. And I mean, everybody, has mentioned it, but the guy was in Division II, Grand Valley State, was a powerhouse there. Central Michigan, won there. Cincinnati, gets into a Power 6 bowl. Obviously bounces, but then he goes to Notre Dame and turns that program from irrelevant, laughing stock back to, the Gold Domers. Like I just said, right. They're undefeated, playing for national championship now. There's big-time guys, 5 4-star guys going there all the time. They're in the college football playoffs. They're stacking 11-win seasons. Like, you're getting a guy who just absolutely knows how to get it done in college football. And for all the folks out there who are having an issue because they're saying that, well, Brian Kelly, he doesn't seem LSU. Mm-hmm. He doesn't fit LSU. You just booted out the guy who is LSU. Right. The most LSU guy possible couldn't get it done after 1 year of success, and then you boot him out, okay? So do you want somebody that can win football games, or do you want somebody that you can eat spicy food with? It drives me nuts.
And it drives
me nuts, bro.
It's very well said, and you give great perspective on that because you're not in the forest. Like, people within the forest have said before, like, you're people are relentless. You don't know what you want. I mean, do you want one of your own, or do you want to bring in somebody from the outside that knows how to run a football program and tells everybody to get out of the way?
Exactly. And what I'll say to finish up on that is this: the more I've been thinking about it, because I still see people on Twitter, you don't feel LSU. He doesn't feel LSU. You know what doesn't feel LSU to me? LSU football to me? Going 6-6.
Yeah.
Not doubt. Playing in Independence Bowl. That doesn't feel like LSU football to me. So you decide if you want somebody who, you can eat some gumbo with, or somebody's going to get you back to the college football playoff.
Damn, you got me fired up.
Joey Mulinaro here with us from Barstool Sports. And Niquilla Stillwater says, why does anyone care if it fits down here? Give me a Martian that goes undefeated. I agree, man.
I agree.
Good stuff from Joey Mulinaro this morning. And a lot of fun stuff going on at Barstool, man, right now. We were talking to Mincy. We were talking to Megan Making Money. She was in town last weekend. But when you look at this SEC championship this weekend, you got Alabama, you got Georgia. What do you kind of early line? What do you like on it?
Don't you just have that feel that the old evil empire?
Oh, no.
I mean, don't you?
Oh no!
Like, do you really feel great about Stetson Bennett and JT Daniels against Saban?
Walls are starting to close in on Stetson.
I know. I didn't want
this Wednesday morning. He's thinking, son of a bitch, man.
Just one more
Will
game,
Anderson's out there lurking around, dude.
I
Nick
just want
Saban.
one more game from him, please. Just one more.
You just know, like, it's just setting up. Here's
Catching
what's setting
points.
up.
I know. I like to know inside my head, not let you tell it to me, because I don't want to admit that.
It sucks, right? And it's like we need a year off where Bama could just go to the Capital One Bowl and just get the hell out of our lives, right? But I think I just have this feeling, man. I feel like Saban's down there just smirking like on the Aflac commercials, just laughing in his jacket, ready to pounce because he knows that everybody over there in Georgia is absolutely losing sleep the whole entire week, knowing that they're facing old Emperor Palpatine, Emperor Saban on Saturday again. So. I don't know, man. It's going to be a great day of college football on Saturday, but
it's going to be.
Get this feeling.
I got you. I'm right there with you. Mark Vaughn says Joey is on point. Bill Gallion says, yeah, Joey, that's exactly right, talking about his mindset on LSU football. A lot of people inside the chat agreeing with you. We're going to get back to Saban before we get you out of here, and appreciate you joining us as always. Joey Mulinaro from Barstool Sports, an insane talent, one of the best impressionists that you'll find in our country right now, is doing great work over at Barstool Sports and is always a friend of the show here. I know that you're a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And right now they're going through some troubled times, but more what Cincinnati is doing in that conference with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and that crew. I saw Thaddeus Moss got his first piece of action last week from a former LSU Tiger on that 19 team, but somebody who's up there, loves that conference, loves the Steelers. Cincinnati, obviously kind of a transition in power right now. You're kind of sitting on the front line. What are you seeing from Burrow and the Bengals?
Just future of sadness. The next 10, 12 years of just hating my life.
The man who brought you so much joy.
It's a really interesting dynamic for me and for my household, because I just, on Sunday I'm so pissed, man, because Joe's just doing whatever he wants back there, man. And Jamar Chase is taunting my boys, and I'm like, I want them to hate them, but then I want them to do well, and I'm just like, God dang, man,
that
this
is
sucks.
a tough spot.
So I guess the positive out of it is just like, now I know the situation, so I can just be happy for Joe and for Jamar and Joe's just so damn cool, man. I mean, he shows up at the post game with a slick hair kid that looks cool. Like, yeah, I mean, we don't really care about beating the Steelers. I'm like, fuck you, dude, come on.
This is supposed to be a big deal.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to hate you, God, but that's why I was so pumped when the news came out on Monday night about Brian Kelly. It got me out of my sadness about the Steelers. So I'm riding that high right now.
If Nick Saban and Colin Cowherd are talking about Brian Kelly joining the SEC, how does that conversation go?
This is the Herd. Brian Kelly, I don't know if you saw this or not, but Brian Kelly leaves Notre Dame for LSU. It just makes too much sense, Joy. It's like Notre Dame is the wife you've been married to for 20 years. You've met your ceiling there. There's no spark. There's no fire. There's no sexiness. That's all LSU. LSU is the young, hot girl that catches your eye at the bar like Urban Meyer, Joy. Coach Saban, what are your thoughts on Brian Kelly now joining the conference here with you in your own division?
Well, I don't really – does that happen? I don't really have time for that because all I'm focused on is Georgia. I got people who are going to be mad at me if I don't beat Georgia by 2 or 3 touchdowns, let alone beat them at all. So my last worry is that little leprechaun coming down here to challenge me in a height contest, let alone the contest on the field, all right?
Wow. A great day, bro. It's always good to catch up with you, man. I love catching up with you. Great stuff this morning.
Huge fan, man.
All right, man. Love you guys. Go Tigers.
Later, man. There he is, Joey Mulinaro from Barstool Sports.
That is
one of the best.
I mean, dude, his Nick Saban is spot
It is,
on,
dude. His Cowherd's great.
Yeah.
His Cowherd's fantastic.
Go back with the Herd.
Right, Joy?
And we'll be back more Herd.
Daily, we are brought to you by GoFlow IV. Remember, GoFlow IV and Spa, located right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. It's easy to get in touch with them online. In fact, that's what I recommend is just go to online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Was over there yesterday. Place is packed, man. You got to get in. You got to set your appointment. Baton Rouge's premier medical spa specializing in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. Remember, if you're looking to help or get help with chronic dehydration, athletic performance like replenishing your electrolytes and vitamins after your workout, chronic illness recovery, get help on rebalancing your body's blood volume for a quicker recovery. All of that is easily done over at GoFlowIV.com. GEAUX FlowIV.com, GoFlowIV.com. Good stuff. I thought Molinero was right on.
Yeah, spot
on his analysis on
doubt.
what he was talking about from LSU, and he gives great perspective because he's somebody who's obviously, if you listen to that, very passionate about LSU. Yeah, he's very passionate about it. I mean, like, he is a true fan, and he kind of knows the storylines. He knows the narratives. He understands kind of what the locals talk about. And it is kind of that push and pull of you want your guy and you want the access, but then there's also that crowd of bring in the outsider, forget the good old boy network, bring them in here and let them just do their work and let them just specialize in football. And I think that's what you have now. You had that in Ed Ogeron for the crowd that wanted the insider and the one of their own and the Louisiana native and somebody that felt like they ran, LSU football almost kind of like a fan. Would if you were in that seat. Now you've got a taskmaster and a disciplinarian who really doesn't deep down. I know this is tough for like the blue bloods to hear, but deep down, Brian Kelly could give a damn about LSU's tradition, his history.
He's here to win.
He's just here to win football games. He wants to stack championships on his resume. So 10 years from now, when you're talking about Saban and Urban Meyer and Dabo Swinney and Kirby Smart and these guys that are winning national championships, and you only and one thing that I realized in doing and just kind of reading up on kind of Kelly and where he is, there's only 3 active head coaches that have won national championships.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's like there's only like this small fraternity within the huge frat of coaching.
Saban's fault.
That really, no doubt.
Is it Jimbo, Nick, and Dabo, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was. I mean,
and it was O.
Well,
It was O.
No, I forgot.
And I think Kirby feels like he's about to get to the party, or he's going to be knocking on the door.
It feels like Molinero was spot on for
it
that.
does, but I still think if they get beat in the SEC title game, they'll get in the final.
Oh, no
four.
doubt. But I just want Alabama.
You think Alabama will?
No, Georgia.
Oh,
would.
Georgia, yeah. They'll still be in the running. But that's what makes it so scary if you're playing Alabama, right? They're playing with their lives on the line.
It makes it scarier because they should have lost last week, and they ended up pulling that out, and they got that scare of like they know they should have lost, but they ended up winning, and it's like, okay, we need to pick our shit up, and like
you go against the Georgia
Yeah.
offense that's pretty anemic, dude. I mean, I could see the avenue where Alabama wins that game just because it gets them. They're playing for their right to get into the playoff, and Georgia doesn't have that same pressure yet.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is the absolute worst spot you want to be in going against Alabama. You don't ever want to be on this side of it, right, where all of the motivational tactics lay in Nick Saban's corner, where he can motivate these guys every single day with a different tactic. Like every day he's going to have these guys, and by the time that bus drops them off in Atlanta on Saturday, they are going to be frothing at the mouth, full of disrespect, full of just motivation, and you're going to get Alabama's best punch. Georgia is going to get Alabama's best swing on Saturday.
This is like I'm going the other side. Like I think Georgia knows that, and they're ready for that. Like I think they kind of spinning it on their side. Like, hey, no, everybody is. Alabama hadn't been to Alabama, and like they think that we're gonna lose this game. Nobody thinks that we're gonna win. Like they're gonna flip it on them, and like
they could,
bro. Georgia's defense is
It's
elite.
They're
NFL.
One of the best we've seen in the last probably 10 years.
And Alabama's offense has regressed.
Yes, they have not been as good, right?
While Georgia's defense has incrementally gotten better,
or just stayed the same, which would be as good as it's ever
but it
been.
kind of looks like they are just
they're
playing with a flow out there where everybody kind of knows where everybody's going to be. You've now played 11 games. We know everybody.
Yeah.
You know how everybody moves, what everybody's looking at. To me, it's just
we're not giving up more than they ain't giving up 20 points. Like it feels like if they give up 14,
and look,
they're mad.
I think Georgia's offense has played better.
Hey,
welcome.
Yeah, Georgia's offense is, but if you're on the Georgia sideline and you realize that you have to play Alabama, Alabama's going to throw their best punch, and you can't. It's hard to get up for that because you have to feel at some point like you're safe to get into the playoff, right?
Yeah, but no,
let me finish.
Okay.
Because after you play Alabama, and if you get beat by Alabama, Alabama's in the playoff, and you're in the playoff, you have that feeling in your stomach where like, dude, we just played this team, and they kicked our teeth in.
The Ducks and the Cowboys.
You're right. So it's such a bad feeling if you
Ducks and the Cowboys.
If you don't get this one figured out now,
Son
like
of a
this
bitch.
is almost the natty
No doubt.
for them.
No doubt. They don't but that's my point is I think they know how important this is. Like I don't they want to knock Alabama out.
This is your chance.
They don't want them anywhere. They don't want them to have to sneak into the championship game and do exactly what happened to them
last time.
But
if you don't, because if you don't knock them out, or even if you do knock them out, that still feels like it's a huge weight off your shoulders, right? Because everybody kind of has that feeling in the SEC when you beat Alabama.
Thank God.
So it's hard to go into the playoff and get back up for that moment. You kind of have to ride the fumes. Oh, you're not ready yet. Hold on. Here we go.
I wouldn't know what that feels like to beat Alabama.
No.
There are 4 active coaches. I'm sorry, I left Mac Brown off the
Mac
list.
Brown, forget about Mac Brown. Hidden out there in
Mac
Chapel
Brown,
Hill.
he's up in Chapel Hill.
How long is he gonna last?
Stacking classes though. Guys
Yeah,
recruiting.
he's recruiting. I just don't know why. Like,
Yeah, I don't
man,
know.
that quarterback just
Sam
didn't-
Howell?
Yeah, Sam Howell wasn't.
I mean, bro, he looks like a Sigma Chi
We
back there.
sniffed that out pretty
Yeah, but
quick.
they were talking about being a top 5 pick.
He's supposed to win the Heisman.
Yeah.
He looks like a fraternity.
Well, I mean,
quarterback.
going, he does. He looks like an
Stetson Bennett
intramural
looks like a
quarterback.
No, he sounds like
he
that's the new
sounds
law
like it.
firm.
That's not. Yeah, that Stetson
Um,
Bennett sounds like you have a trust
But
fund.
Stetson
put
is
away
kind of
somewhere.
sneaky,
Stetson
athletic.
sounds like a walk-on.
He's sneaky
No doubt.
athletic.
No doubt.
Like he's made some moves in the open field where you're like, wow, Stetson's got a little shake to him. Now, what it doesn't look like he doesn't have any. The fact that he hadn't gotten murdered out there yet, like he looks like to me, you know, who he looks like Andrew Hatch.
A little bit.
He has like this Hatch look to him where you're like,
I don't know if he's
every
supposed to be out
time
there.
he's like gets hit, you're like, oh shit, like, oh, is he gonna get up? Is he gonna get up? You know what I
Imagine
mean?
his
Like,
parents.
yes, I couldn't.
What
I
a
couldn't.
reference. Bring me back to some miserable offensive days.
Oh my god, dude.
He threw a 40-yard Hail Mary that didn't reach the end zone.
Well, dude, he threw it at the wrong end zone probably after Auburn. He didn't
Do
know
you
where he
remember
was.
that shot that knocked him out of the
Yes.
SEC when he was walking like he had gotten shot to
He
the
looks like
sideline?
Mike Tyson
And
hit
like
him in
the
the nose.
LSU coaches are
Get
telling him, they're like, go down,
Over.
go down, go down,
Dude,
right?
What
And they're
happened
like,
to him?
he got. I mean, it was
Crushed.
probably like putting me out on an SEC field and saying, run the read option against Auburn and see what happens.
At Auburn.
Right? Like, I mean, like there was 100,000 raining down on you, and the LSU's the defending national champs. This is in
Can't find the
2008.
quarterback.
No.
Yes. This is Ryan Perilou got thrown off the team, so they are in
yeah,
a
that's
bind.
right.
In a pickle.
They are in a
That is
spot,
right.
bro. So they're looking at Andrew Hatch, who transferred from Harvard. And had the full intent of, let me just go down south, get on the sideline, get a ring, go out, see the pretty girls, do the whole experience. Next thing you know, Les is
forward.
like, hey, Hatch, you're starting at Auburn this weekend.
my
He was
God.
probably like, you know what I mean? Like, me? You want me to play?
He's been having catcher in the rye in front of his playbook
And
all day. He's like, whoa.
They run read option in the first half with Andrew Hatch, and the defensive end, whoever it is, crashes down on Hatch and kills him.
Yeah.
I mean, like it murders
It was not
him.
good.
He comes up off of his feet, and he is like, they show him on the ground, and it looks like he's knocked out. When he gets up, he looks like he has been punched by Mike. I mean, he's like staggering. He's like, and like the coaches are like, just die. Just die, bro. Just go down. Go down. Now you're like, what are we gonna do now? Like, what are we gonna do now? Like, this is the Harvard transfer has just gotten
Didn't work
killed
out.
at Jordan Hare. What do we do now? Well, there's a true freshman that we could ruin if you want. I mean, we could just ruin this kid and throw him out there. Hey, Jay Lee, go out there. Jay Lee's first pass, he's so nervous. If you go back and credit to Jay Lee, this might be one of the best games he ever played
Yep.
at LSU.
Yep.
Because he hit Brandon LaFell on a crosser that night and then threw a great game winner to LaFell on the road as an 18-year-old true freshman with zero business in the game. Had no business in the game. But the first pass he threw, it would have been like taking one of us off the bench and been like going. I mean, he is like shaking
Yeah.
and like throws an out route to Keelan Williams and just floats it. And I mean, like it's like pregame. The Auburn defensive end like picks it and like just like coasts into the end zone. You know what I mean? Like walks into the end zone. And I mean, you're like, holy shit! Like the defending national champ, they may not win
What
another
happened
game.
to Harvard?
I think I
That
never
was
heard
it.
from him
That
again.
was it
That was
for
it.
him?
I never heard from him again.
Never
had,
heard him. He was never seen again.
I never heard. Yeah.
He,
And
I
that was
think
the
he's still
last-
at Auburn.
And I
man.
think
think that was
played-
the last we heard of Andrew Hatch.
dude, and honestly, dude, Jared Lee could have been good. I like
No
Jared.
doubt
I thought,
about it.
Like he
No
could have been. He got
doubt
ruined. And look,
about
dude,
it,
when
dude.
he threw 7. So in 2008, Jared Lee threw 7 pick sixes. I think it was 7.
Dang.
Right, but listen, when you throw a pick six, like unless you do it the out, like he threw a couple or like the out route where like nobody was in front of him. But when you throw, he was throwing balls like downfield, middle of the field that were getting intercepted, and the guys were returning it back for touchdowns.
It was
Like
crazy.
that's not on, like the interception's on him, but
it snowballed on him.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
it was just bad luck.
It was incredible, and he had no business in that. He had no business being there, and it
From
set
that-
him back
It set LSU back.
Aw,
Dude,
that's
2008
so sad.
Andrew Hatch, just go down. I mean, look at that. That looks like a fraternity kid. You know what I mean? Like, that looks like a Sigma Chi laying in the middle of Auburn's field. That was a starting quarterback for LSU. I mean, Ryan Perrilloux, that situation put LSU in such a bind.
Yeah.
It
Such a
was-
setback.
And then Les Miles sees that and says, "Okay."
Over at RMB, Rhett Bourgeois and their crew. We got no sound, they're saying.
I know, I just saw
RMB.
We're good. We're back.
RMB Builders.
Andrew Hatch did it.
I don't see
RMB-builders.com.
anything.
Remember, RMB contractors are the best. There we go. Lloyd pressing the wrong button.
No. It's when you pull up some pictures from the internet, occasionally the sound will travel. It tries to pick up audio from different avenues. So when you do too much production, sometimes bad things happen.
Get in touch with RMB Builders, RMB-builders.com, RMB-builders.com. If you need a custom design home, if you need anything done around the house, get in touch with them. We are going to get in touch with Jimmy Burrow, the GOAT's father, the GOAT's GOAT, coming up here at next here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Oh, is that Andrew right
That
there?
is Andrew Hatch.
I don't see anything about him at Lit Pizza.
Okay.
I think Brett might be kidding with
Okay.
us.
I mean,
Jimmy
this guy
Burrow
was
next here on the Jordy
playing
Culotta Show.
quarterback for you. Tough luck. Best of luck to him.
Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more.
More than 2 times when you're playing with it over there, Jordy.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Appreciate Joey Mulinaro for stopping by here. Big one tonight over at the Maravich Center as the Ohio Bobcats, 5-1 on the season, traveling down from Athens, Ohio to take on the LSU Tigers tonight inside the Maravich Center. LSU, a big favorite here at 12.5, but going to be a good one. I know that Coach Will Wade was talking about this this Ohio team and a senior-laden squad coming down here tonight that's got the LSU basketball team's attention. And new head football coach Brian Kelly, who's going to be introduced at halftime, so should be an electric atmosphere. Speaking of Ohio University, one of the longtime defensive coordinators up there and one of the great minds in football, but now just worried about his tea time and if he can get off at 11 o'clock this morning in the right temperature because his son is one of the best quarterbacks on the planet, Joey Burrow with the Cincinnati Bengals, as the Bengals trending in the right direction. Lots to get to with the coach here this morning. Good morning. We're talking to Jimmy Burrow here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome back.
Well, thanks for having me. I do follow your show and listen from time to time, so it's always good to be back.
It is great to have you back, sir, and it's good to be able to talk all things football and all things Joey Burrow. Coach, last week I look up, he's fighting T.J. Watt. He keeps the ball on a quarterback scramble for the opening touchdown in which he takes a brutal shot and gets shoved into the turf. He hops up, slams his chest, gives a kid the ball in the front row. And then I look up this morning and SI.com has a feature on him talking about Albert Breer, calling him one of the toughest quarterback that he's ever covered, and Zach Taylor calling him a linebacker type of mentality in a quarterback's uniform. As a defensive coordinator and as his father, in watching him play and hearing all those accolades, what do you think?
Well, I'd like him to be a little smarter when it comes to that, especially in the NFL. But, as a defensive coach, you're always happy to see toughness out of an offensive player and a quarterback. Joe just happens to be my son, and so I kind of have to lean in the other direction. But that I did read that article. That is part of his leadership qualities, and I think that's why both sides of the ball, all of his teammates, really love and respect that. And Jamie, who is a linebacker, my son, and Dan, who is a defensive back, they think that's the best thing that's ever been. But I'm a little hesitant to jump on board. We've had discussions about it. Peyton Manning, Archie Manning, Eli, all those guys have reached out to him about, hey, Joe, it's okay to slide. But, sometimes maybe he will in the future. I hope so.
What does Cincinnati say about it? Because I know Zach Taylor loves his style of play. I mean, and you know this as a football coach, how much do you tinker with a player who is so great in asking them to, hey, man, limit the things that you do in this part of your game?
Well, I think they just will always continue to say, you have to be smart. And he's gotten better, I will say that. And I thought he might run out of bounds the other day when he got close to the goal line, but no, he didn't. But and it ended up
can get this work.
Right.
A big play, but I think he understands his importance to that team and to the franchise, and as I said, he's gotten better. Still work to be done on the slide, and I'll keep reminding him.
The knee must be good, though, right? I mean, he's bouncing around out there.
Yeah, it's Dr. Elatrosh did a great job. The trainers and physical therapists at Cincinnati did an awesome job once he got back here in Ohio and in Cincinnati. He does wear a knee brace, which he's still not very fond of. But maybe next year he won't have to. But yeah, it's held up good. There's no swelling really after a game, and we just hope that will will continue throughout the season.
You kind of see the game within the game, especially watching him play. Was there a moment this season when you kind of thought to yourself, whoa, he kind of looks like he's back. He kind of looks like he's closer to 100% than he has been.
Yeah, I think a few probably maybe Pittsburgh game the first time when he was able to. We know how good they are on defense usually, and he was able to escape the pocket some. Started to maneuver a little more like we were accustomed to, and you kind of think he is back. He ran some plays that maybe he wouldn't have done earlier in the year, and was able to really get out of the pocket. And that was a process. I mean, this summer there was about a week or two there where things weren't going great, not because of the health of the knee, but just because it took him a while to really feel comfortable in the pocket, and that was all fairly normal. But I don't think he really thinks about it now, and just plays football like we're accustomed to seeing him play.
It'll be a great matchup between him and Justin Herbert this weekend, or that's what the media will make it up to be, Joe Burrow versus Justin Herbert, as Cincinnati travels to face the Chargers this coming up weekend. Coach, they're 7-4. They're second in the AFC North. You've lived in that part of the country for a long time. The Bengals feel a little different right now, right?
Well, they expect to win, and have the ability to do that every game. I mean, Joe certainly coming in last year, I think had a change. It kind of changed the culture of the whole organization, and then you add pieces like Jamar, and then they spent a good amount of money on defensive players. Trey Hendrickson from you're probably familiar with him from the Saints, and they're just starting to put a team together that has a lot of character. I think that's an important part of building an organization and a football team, and they've done a great job with that. And they're fun to watch. Pretty much every game now is sold out or close to it, and everybody's just excited about the future. And I look at the weather every week. We were kind of hoping with the Chargers coming into town that we might really get a cold one, but I think it's only going to be about 45 or 50. So we'll let them off the hook with the weather at least.
Chargers in town this weekend for a noon start versus the Bengals. It'll be a good matchup between Los Angeles and
we're gonna get that game down here too.
Absolutely, Coach. They give us every game down here.
I love it.
They've seen the metrics.
I
love it.
I believe it was a couple of weeks back where the Saints and Bengals were head to head, and the Bengals actually won the ratings because the Saints game was just too far out of reach.
Yeah,
that upset some people around here because there's Browns fans, there's Steeler fans because we're so close, and sometimes Athens and Southeast Ohio doesn't get the Bengals games on TV, and it's always pointed out on the internet that New Orleans and Baton Rouge have it.
It's true though. I love it.
It's so good. And look, people would be bitching it. They'd be calling their cable operators if it wasn't on.
No doubt.
I mean,
no doubt.
Hey, if you ever,
that's right.
Jimmy,
where are the Bengals at?
Jimmy, if you ever need a website, you let me know. I got you.
Thank you,
Coach. 2 years ago last night, Joey trotted out in front of 103,000 with the Burrow spelled EAUX on the back of his jersey in front of the Texas A&M game. That was maybe one of the most magical moments that Tiger Stadium has ever seen, especially one of the most magical moments of that 19 season. When you remember that night, what do you recall?
Well, we were standing on the sideline, and String came up to us and said, Joe was doing that with a jersey. So that was the first that we had really heard of it. And I knew that was going to be a big moment, and so just unbelievable. The main thing to me after all the hoopla surrounding is that we kind of kicked A&M's butt, and that was after the 7 overtime the year before. So it was good to get some revenge, but the culmination of Joe's career there and at home and Tiger Stadium showing their love and vice versa. And, that night was special to our family. I watched it again last night. Robin's mom, who passed away, was in that video, so it's even more special to our family to see her in that moment. But great night. I had hoped to get back for this last A&M game. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least say how much Coach O meant to us, to Joe and our family. We certainly were disappointed in how it ended, but we'll always support LSU football and Scott Woodward and the new coach Brian Kelly. But Coach O certainly meant a lot to us, and I think that's evident anytime you see video of Joe with Coach O and the joy that they shared. And I posted last week Joe's Heisman speech, and that really says it all about what we feel about Coach O. But we're excited about the future of LSU football.
Coach, when you've seen so much football in your life, and you've seen so much football since 2019, when you think back on that year and you just have times to reminisce like you did last night in your living room and watching that game, how good was that team, and what do you think of that season of just how they were so dominant?
Well, of course I'm biased, but
sure,
I think it's the best football team that's ever been in NCAA, and 15-0, and how they beat most people. It's hard to argue, but I've always said as a coach, you want the team to get better every game, and that's hard to do, and it doesn't happen very often. But that football team got better every single game, and that was pretty amazing. And then you put that along with the great athletic ability on both sides of the ball, and you got a super team. And there was a lot of character in there. I think sometimes that maybe gets overlooked, is that was a football team, offense and defense, that was built on great character and intelligence. I mean, we were doing things on offense for sure that required all 11 guys to really be smart and understand the checks and what was going not only through Joe's mind, but the coaching staff. And it just all came together. And as I said, to watch every week was unbelievable.
You have game planned, and you have gone up against Brian Kelly's Notre Dame teams. What does LSU get in their next head coaches that will introduce him today at noon?
Well, I coached against him. We never played Notre Dame, but we played him, I think, twice when he was at Central Michigan. We lost to him both times, 2005, and then we played him in the MAC championship in 2006 at Ford Field there in Detroit, and lost. I think that was maybe his last game, but his record speaks for itself. And I can just remember, we didn't play him. I think he was there 3 years, so we played him 2 of those years. But you're always watching them as you evaluate other film. Very well coached. They were balanced. They seemed to always have a quarterback that could throw the football, but also run and move around if needed. But they were always very, very good. Won a couple championships, and then I was able to watch Notre Dame from afar quite a bit on TV, and just does a great job. And I think both sides of the ball are going to be very well coached. I'm not sure what staff he's going to put together, but certainly, as I said, the record is there, and turning programs around or maintaining programs is unbelievable. My understanding is he's super organized and runs a football program like a CEO, but it's also a great coach. And that was evident when he was at Central Michigan. I was able to at least play against him a couple times. Balanced attack usually.
Yeah. Did he recruit Joey?
You know what? Notre Dame did not recruit Joe.
Fire Brian Kelly. I'm off this guy.
We're back to the lifetime contract.
Right.
I forget there was a lot of them that reached out, but I can't recall Notre Dame did. Central Michigan did. Danny Enos was a friend of mine that I'd coached with, and he was one of the first to offer Joe at Central Michigan. But I'm not sure why
Sorry,
Notre Dame didn't. Maybe you should ask him. Huh?
Today, that'll be my first one. Right. You know anything about?
I've been there though. When
Jamie
played there. I don't think Coach Kelly. He wasn't the coach at that time. I don't think, but that was always a great atmosphere. Also.
You know anything about the Ohio basketball team? They're in town tonight.
Oh yeah. Coach Bowles, Jeff Bowles is a good friend. We texted back and forth yesterday. He's coming to his son is a big Joe fan, and I think he's in high school maybe, and so he's coming to our tailgate on Sunday.
Nice.
And coming to watch the Bengals versus the Chargers. We got to know him when he was at Ohio State. His basketball freshman stayed in the same dorm as the football freshman, so I would run into him a few times. But they're a really good basketball team. They led Kentucky most of the first half, and then only trailed by 2. That's the only game I believe they've lost. We made won the championship, the tournament last year. Played in the NCAA tournament. Does an awesome job. He played at Ohio University, and I look forward to seeing him on Sunday. We occasionally stop by there and say hello. Ben Vanderplas is one of the best players I think in the country. He's about 6'8", can shoot threes. I think he had about 20 against Kentucky, and so they'll be challenging for LSU, and it's one of those games that the only time this year that I'll be cheering against the Tigers. Wow. I'm sorry, but I got to go for the Bobcats tonight.
We get it. We get that one. We get that one.
And Joe grew up kind of wanting to play basketball for the Bobcats. I mean, we spent hours. I had a key to the convocation center. That's where we play the basketball home games. So he shot in there more times than any place other than his own high school gym. We spent a lot of time in there. Went to almost every game as Joe was growing up, and Bobcats basketball was a big thing to us and still is.
I tell everybody that asks me advice on kids playing multiple sports, I tell them the story that you told me on this show about Joe thinking he was going to be a basketball player when he was a sophomore in high school, and you could still see his basketball instincts on the football field, and always urge parents to allow kids to play multiple sports because of, kind of your point of view on Joe.
Right.
I mean, that's a number one pick in the NFL draft who 5 years prior to that thought he was going to be a basketball player and was a really dominant basketball player.
He was, and as a coach, you love seeing. I think almost all coaches would agree with me that the more athletic ability you can show at other sports, the more that they're enticing to recruit because it just shows a lot of different skills. One of my favorite things that I've watched Joe forever is when he stepped up there against Oklahoma in some kind of a 3-point. He hadn't picked up a basketball in 2 years. I think he was 9 of 10 from 3-point.
And pissed about the miss.
Yeah, he was. And all he talked about was the miss.
And he would have been so mad if he hadn't have done that, and if they'd have lost to Oklahoma. But
that was so great.
I would have bet on him, that's for sure.
Backwards hat. He's
That makes
just
Joe
draining
cool,
them,
dude.
bro. Just draining them.
This feels right.
It was so fun.
He played. He did play a couple of regional games in the Convo, so that was always fun. And as you get closer to the state tournament, some of the games are in there. But it was great, and I look forward. I'm hoping I can see that game on TV tonight.
Tell Miss Robin, tell Jamie, Danny, and the boys hello, everybody. It's great to hear from you. Love watching number 9 play and looking forward to watching him shine this Sunday versus the Chargers. Thanks for the minutes, man.
All right. Thanks for having me. Go Tigers. Go Bengals.
Yes, sir. Talk
Yes,
to you
sir.
soon.
Who
There he
dey?
is,
All
Jimmy Burrow, checking in this morning from the Midwest in Cincinnati as he's worried about an 11 a.m. tee time, which right now it is 32 degrees in
No
Cincinnati,
way.
and
No
says
way.
that he is anticipating it getting up to 40 degrees for his 11.
That
I
tells
don't
me
love
he's
golf that much.
That tells me
bro.
he's really good.
He's either really good or you just love it.
No, but he's not playing. If you're not really good, you're not playing at 40 degrees because
I'm
it
with you,
hurts.
bro.
If you don't
I'm
hit the
with
ball
you.
Yeah.
flush,
Right.
it hurts your hand. So
I'm with you.
I'm not playing at 40 degrees. I'm not playing in
You
50
are, aren't
degrees.
you, Lloyd?
I mean, if you're from there, that probably feels like a brisk,
Yeah,
but
but like,
it's a
dude,
winter day, dude.
I mean, if you're chasing your balls and you're blading shit off the.
Oh, no, he's not doing that. Yeah, you're
that's
not
what I mean.
doing
Like
that
he's
in
good. Like
miserable weather.
he's probably upper 70s golfer.
Yeah, he's gonna go. Yeah, he'll be able to hit it around a little bit and be
Yeah,
like,
no
"Yeah, that was
doubt.
fun. That was worth it." It's like
Oh,
going to the
man.
batting cage and it's like 38 degrees. Like, dude, if you don't know how to play baseball, this is not worth it. At
I don't
all.
want to do that. When I know how to play baseball. No, thank you.
We are also going to talk to Josh Gooden here from Crowd Push, who is a chief marketing officer over there. This is a new company. It's pretty exciting the way that it's bringing together athletes and NIL deals. He'll tell us all about that before we get out of here this morning at 9 a.m. He'll be here before probably around 8:45. We will talk to Nick Underhill next from New Orleans.Football. What's the latest with the Saints? What's the latest with Taysom Hill? That was great with Jimmy Burrow. We appreciate him stopping by. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Relief Med, RELEAF Med.com. Get in touch with ReliefMed.com online. You can log on. It's very easy to get there by logging on, and all you got to do is click on the Relief Now tab, and you can get going and talk to a certified doctor over the phone or via video. Get approved and have your recommendations sent to a pharmacy, which is closest to you. Once you get there, you'll have a Louisiana board-certified pharmacist get you your products that you need. The qualifying conditions are online, and you can click on that at Relief, RELEAF, med.com, and they range from anything from scoliosis to insomnia to back pain to cancer to depression.
Cold weather.
Yes, cold weather.
Aren't you
What's
like
that
their
called?
spokesperson now, Lloyd?
I mean, it is cold.
Are you the face of
I
relief?
could be. Look at this.
You
Who
could
wouldn't want
be.
this? Yes, I am.
Yes, you could.
Remember, you can use the promo code Jordy01, Jordy01 for
Should be Lloyd.
your
And
promotion.
Lloyd.
Yeah.
What's the seasonal depression? Isn't that what happens
Yes.
whenever it gets
that's a
cold?
thing.
I mean,
It's
tell
Sunday.
that. Tell that.
Sunday scaries.
Sunday scaries.
Yes.
Gets great. So does your
Yes.
world. Call Relief Med.
Hey.
Talking to Nick Underhill next here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
It's bleak over there too.
Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Hebert's Specialty Meats, home to the finest boudin in South Louisiana. 2 spots right here in Baton Rouge and out in Prairieville. Stop in and see them in the Dutchtown Shopping Center on Highway 73 or right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. Online, abearsmarkets.com, and they're all over social media. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. Hebert's combines perfect seasoning with that authentic Cajun flavor. Find out for yourself. Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway and in Prairieville on Highway 73. abearsmarkets.com. NewOrleans.football is the website. Nick Underhill is the publisher. It is the best information if you're looking for New Orleans Saints news. We give a shout-out to Jimmy Burrow. Thank him for stopping by here on this Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, and Joey Mulinaro. Let's get to our next guest, Nick Underhill here, who, as we said, runs the best website there is as far as New Orleans Saints news is concerned. NewOrleans.football. The subscription is a must. You get the podcast with it. The YouTube channel is there. And there's big news this week, so there's a lot to get to with Nick. Nick, how are you, man? Happy belated Thanksgiving. How was Thursday in the Dome? The game sucked.
Not good.
Yeah, sorry.
Not good.
sorry.
Have a
That was
blast.
about as embarrassing as me as the Odell Beckham question. Sorry.
I did not tweet that.
Yes.
Not good being away from the family for a 31-6 loss.
Yes.
It's a little harder to stomach being away from home on the holidays for that.
But small piece of personal news for you, bro. Congratulations on buying the home down in New Orleans. You're
Hey.
finally a citizen, dude. You ain't going nowhere.
You've committed.
Ain't going back up north.
Now we're bottom and we aren't going anywhere. This is where we want to be, and as long as the website's working, we'll be here. All signs are that we're here to stay. So just been blessed with the way things have gone. Extremely grateful, and to finally be able to live somewhere after 10 years of a nomadic lifestyle in the media business, to kind of know where you're going to be. Hopefully for the next 10, it's a good feeling to finally have some. I don't know, contentment, I guess, would be the word I'd use.
Hell yeah, man. We're within a belated welcome home to Nick Underhill, who is a godfather in our trade, somebody who took it and went independent and formed NewOrleans.football, and now you're here. He's buying homes and he's staying down here in New Orleans. So it is a light that we have followed over here at the Jordy Culotta Show, and we appreciate him
One of the few to
setting
walk
the
away
roads.
from Bill Belichick
Absolutely,
as
dude.
opposed to the opposite.
Yes. My man is a gambler. All right, Taysom Hill's getting first-team reps, and it looks like he's going to get the start versus Dallas on Thursday night. What's this mean for New Orleans? Can this be a turnaround?
Well, it needs to be. We'll see kind of, how it goes. I think that you can give them a shot of life, though, and I think that's what this team needs right now on offense. They really haven't gotten much momentum going with Trevor Siemian. First couple games with him, there's a lot of stuff going on, receivers dropping passes and all that, but the common trait through those 4 games is that there was really no first-half production. I think that Taysom can give him a little bit of something, a little bit of a jolt, even if you got to call up some just running plays to sustain drives and have him on those QB powers and things like that. So it should make manufacturing offense a little bit easier in some respects. And, the interesting thing for me, and I think the big picture situation here that's real important, is that it's going to kind of help define at least what he is moving forward. And I think that both Taysom Hill and the team can get some finality on just the evaluation of him and what is he going forward. Next year, is he a quarterback? Is he a tight end? I think giving him a window of games here to start allows all those questions to get put to rest. You can see if he made any growth from last year, and if he did and he plays better, maybe he continues down the quarterback path. But if it's the same, I think you go to door number 2 and start figuring out what he can do full time in the other role. So that's going to be real interesting. Way beyond just can this team make the playoffs. I mean, for his career, to know what they're going to do at quarterback, just even next year, it becomes a little bit more defined. And I think that uncertainty is something that needs to get settled, and it should now get settled.
Are you good with him from a health standpoint? Are you hearing the positive signs from his health standpoint? I know he was battling the concussion early in the season, but it seems like the foot has been a problem with the plantar fasciitis the last couple of weeks.
I mean, looking at him, he's moving around. You see him running. He looks okay out at practice. I guess that's a little bit different than if you're on, one of those runs to the outside and you got to plant and cut, and it's a boy getting hit by a 240-pound linebacker or something like that. Maybe that's a little bit different, and that's to be determined. But they took their time with it. They were slow bringing him along. I think maybe even to the detriment of the team. I mean, last week, if he had played, maybe he gives them a better shot. And I know it was something they were thinking about, and the foot just wasn't there, so they took their time with it. And it seems like they're veering towards caution on a lot of these injuries. So I think if he is out there, he's good to go. And I think his success is going to be more determined by who's around him. Alvin's practiced all week, but I don't think it's guaranteed at all by any means that he's going to be playing Thursday night. I think that one's very dicey, and that one, they could lean towards caution and give 10 more days and make sure he's good for the rest of the season. And I wouldn't be shocked if that's the way they went. I wouldn't be shocked if they played him either, but I don't think it's any guarantee that he's going to have the full complement of players around him. So at least for the first one, if he doesn't, it might still be a little bit harder because they don't have a lot on offense. But I do think putting Taysom at quarterback gives them at least one more guy that can make something happen, even if it's just with his feet. And, Dallas is banged up too. So they might be catching him at the right time. But, it's going to take a little while, I think, before we see the full offense out there. Even the tackles, Ramchek's not practicing. So there's just a lot going on right now with this team still.
How much, you mentioned all the injuries, of course, and it seems like that's kind of limiting Sean Payton, but how much does adding Taysom Hill at quarterback kind of open up the playbook a little bit for Sean Payton? Because they are, destitute of playmakers on the outside. You mentioned no Alvin Kamara. Is it almost like, do you go full Wildcat with Taysom Hill at quarterback and just kind of let him, matriculate down the field and see what Sean Payton can do? How does this open up the offense? Because what you've seen with Trevor Siemian obviously hasn't been able to get the deal done with his lack of weapons.
I think you make a good point there because, look, if Kenny Stills and Marquez Callaway or drop passes on, back-to-back downs, you can just say, F it and let Taysom run and try to get something going there. So when things are stagnant, you can just get that shot of life with him. And I think, having his legs allows you to get into better situations on second and third down if he can get you some yardage early on. And I think that's been one of the big issues for them. It's been too many third and longs, too many second and longs, and it just puts them in these bad situations. And they're a team that needs to be able to run the ball just because of the lack of options at wide receiver. And I don't think the running game has been consistently good this year. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And, I think I would probably start with some of the injuries on the offensive line. But, getting Taysom out there, he's someone that can make things happen on his own. I don't think full Wildcat, but I think you got to lean into some of the stuff that allows him to be, Taysom Hill. And I think that's going to give them a little bit of a shot of life. And it's just another way to do things because the traditional way really hasn't worked for this team since Jameis Winston got hurt. So you got to find another way to manufacture offense. And I think he can be an answer, at least to some of the questions. I don't know if he'll answer all of them, but got to be a better answer than what they've had the last 4 weeks.
And you mentioned the Jameis Winston injury, which makes me ask, do you think Taysom Hill treats this almost as an audition for the quarterback role next year, or is Sean Payton trying to find and see what he can do as far as what goes for quarterback play next year?
I think Taysom should be 100% looking at it that way. This is probably his last chance to be a starter. I don't think that 31 other teams are looking at him as a potential starter. There's one team that would leave the door open even a little bit for him. And it seemed like it was getting shut on him. Jameis wins the job. They go to Trevor first. So he very quickly got buried, and it seems like the opinion of him, at least with the Saints, it dissipated a little bit from when he was kind of looked at as a potential heir apparent. It seems like they were moving on from him at the position, and all the circumstances set up to give him one last shot. So I think he needs to know that this is quite possibly the last time he'll ever have to change opinions, win a job, play the position he wants to play. And I asked him that yesterday, like, hey, man, you got all these incentives. Are you looking at this like this is your chance? And do you want to be a starting quarterback? And he said, yeah, I want to be a starter. Like, that's how he views himself. So, yeah, this is the last chance, 100%. And if it goes poorly, I don't think that he's going to have another opportunity to seriously be considered a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Was Thursday the lowest point that you've seen the Saints since covering them?
Oh God, easily. Yes.
Oh.
I can't remember any other time that I went to a game, and even before the game, you're just kind of looking around and you see who they have on the field going through warmups, and it felt helpless at that point, just with all the injuries. And at least there was always Drew Brees on the field. When Brees was on the field, you always kind of felt like something could happen, even during those 7 and 9 years where they had some, real bad losses. But when he was on the field, at least early in the game, like you thought they had a chance. You thought he might be able to figure something out. It just didn't feel like there was any reason for hope anywhere on the field. And, just like immediately they're behind it and it looks horrible. And, the defense is getting stops. It's 10-0. And even at 10-0, it might have, it should have been 30-0 because they couldn't get first downs. They couldn't move the ball. It felt like
a little bit of in the moment, and I think getting away from it. But in the moment, it felt like, a little bit of finality. But then you kind of like, logic comes back. You look at all the players they're missing: wide receiver 1, tight end 1, running back 1, running back 2, the right tackle, the left guard, the fullback.
Jeez.
I mean, I guess
Stop it.
Man.
Taysom,
Kill me while I'm dead.
Hill. So it's hard to put meaning on that game because that wasn't the team on the field. I know everybody likes to say, next man up. You can't use injuries as excuses, but like logically, 7 guys on offense that are key contributors, essentially starters, not playing. I don't think you can use that game to define anything or to say, this is who the Saints are and who they're going to be moving forward.
Yeah.
A banged up team got beat. They got to get healthy. It was a horrible loss, but I'm not sure it means anything in the grand scheme in terms of health of the franchise.
Somewhere Aldrick Rosas was having nightmares that Peyton was going to put him in at quarterback on Thursday night. Nick, I'd be remiss if I didn't get your opinion before we get out of here. What did you think of Brian Kelly being named the new head coach at LSU?
I honestly would rather, if I was running a program, I'd rather catch a guy on the come up than maybe the older guy on the backswing of his career or whatever. Like a Billy Napier seems like a program builder to me, and I'm excited to see what he does with his opportunity. But I don't think Brian Kelly's a bad hire by any means. Like he's extremely established. I think that getting someone in that he has proven production. I think it'll be easier for him to recruit. He won't have the same restrictions around him. And quite honestly, I don't mean to disparage anybody, but this is a program where I think you can be a mediocre football coach and win a title. And if you're a good football coach, you should win multiple titles. And, I think that he's someone that's going to put good people around him and he's going to get good coordinators. And he's shown that he knows how to, kind of recruit people around him on his coaching staff. So I expect him to have success. It's just, when you hear Lincoln Riley, it's like, the young guy going to, build something that he's going to be there, forever. And I guess 60 really isn't old for a football coach. Saban was 57 when he got to Alabama. So Kelly could be around for quite a while. I think it's a good hire. I mean, I think he's going to do well there. I'd be surprised if he fails quickly or anything like that. It's just, you kind of see the young people and there's a lot of energy around them. And those are the names you're hearing. So you're kind of expecting to see one of those. And then, door number 2, and you kind of got to, it's a surprise. And it's not necessarily the most exciting name, but I think it's a very good, solid hire.
I know you mentioned that Dallas was a little banged up and the Saints are catching them at the right time, coming off of 2 straight losses. But at their ceiling, when they're right, or when they are right, what do you think the ceiling is for the Cowboys, the 2021 edition of them?
Yeah, I think they could. I think they're extremely talented. In the way the NFC is, I think anybody can beat anybody right now. I don't really think there's like a great team. Maybe Arizona, but I'm not ready to believe in them fully. So I think Dallas' ceiling is, if they catch people on the right days, they can beat anybody and go as far as they want. I think it's a really, really good team. And they were playing like it early in the season. That they've kind of hit some hard times. Everybody hit some hard times. The Rams lost 3 straight. I thought they were a Super Bowl contender at one point. I'm not sure about them anymore. So it's been topsy-turvy in that conference. And it's actually kind of funny because, like, with the Saints, it feels like they're trying to, do everything they can to be taken out of the playoff picture. And every week I come on somewhere and I say, oh, this is a must-win game for them. And then everybody around them loses and they're still alive. So another must-win game for the Saints. But, hey, if all these other teams lose, like, the playoff picture doesn't really change and they're still in it. But, yeah,
Stay on the graphic.
I think Dallas – I think if Dallas gets right, they could be the contenders.
Have a great rest of the week. Thank you for the information as always. The website is neworleans.football, and Nick is every Wednesday is here on the Culotta Show. Thank you, man.
Is he gone?
Later, buddy.
Are you going to this game Thursday night?
I am not.
I'm not.
You're not.
Oh, I got
I
it too.
have
I
been-
got it too. I am not.
I've been like
Something going
dropping
around
hints
here.
for this game because it's stack. For probably like 2 months or so, Hub Insurance is the official sponsor of the New Orleans Saints. That's where my husband works. Been dropping hints.
And
No sign of tickets or anything. Last night we're like getting in bed and I was like, so something about the Saints Cowboys came on and I was like, so is it? We're definitely not happening. Like, is it going to be a surprise Thursday
Just
night
got
that
back
we're
from
going
Vail,
to?
and now she's like, I can't go to
What did he say? What did he
the.
say? What did he say?
I didn't even ski in Vail. I
Well,
just
that's a
did the
personal
mom
decision.
thing the whole time. But He
But
was
what did
like,
he
oh,
said
I don't
no?
know. It's just been so busy. I just don't think that
Are
it's
they
gonna
playing
happen.
Thursday night?
Yeah.
Yes.
no,
That's
that's
coming
what I'm saying.
here.
David,
Shut
See, you
up,
played it up
Joe.
perfectly.
Yes.
is the game even Thursday?
I just kind of got quiet and just was like,
How about that though?
No
Two-
sex tonight.
The
for-
rollover.
Yeah.
No good night.
Oh, yeah,
No good
the
night.
mask goes on.
Yeah, right.
The Saints have
See you
Okay.
Saturday.
Saints have 2 Thursday night games in a row, but they don't even have to miss. Like they only have one like short turnaround because they had a week from a week.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
nice. That's
No,
a nice. I mean, that's
the-
a good.
The scheduling gods did them a favor.
Yeah.
well, if
You-
anyone has good
you
tickets
rarely
and
see
wants
that.
to take me, I'm available
Okay,
to go
there you go.
to
Greg.
the
Carpool
Superdome
queen.
to see Dak. Sorry, I
Carpool
won't be wearing
queen.
black and gold, so you have to be like okay with that.
I think there'll be plenty of Cowboys
Oh, there'll be
fans.
plenty.
there.
They're always
Yeah.
Cowboys.
They
Yeah,
always
there will
take
be.
over.
These
There will
people.
be.
They always
Yeah.
take over.
And
All
you
right,
hear
Josh Gooden is the Chief Marketing Officer for Crowd Push, which we're going to learn about what Crowd Push is. It is
exciting.
aligning players and NIL deals, and he will tell us how I believe the fans can help do this. We will talk to him. I don't know enough about it to say it. That's why he's
gonna
going.
tell
That's
us
why he's
all
coming
about
on
it.
He's
here.
going to educate us on Crowd Push. I appreciate everybody for being here for today. Make sure you
It's
hit
like
that
GoFundMe,
like.
it sounds like.
It is similar to that.
Kinda. Like, share, comment. Nick Underhill, Joey Mulinaro, Jimmy Burrow. We'll talk to Josh Gooden here next, coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, daily we are brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix. Cajun Ready Mix Concrete is online at CajunRMC.com. CajunRMC.com. They provide ready-mix concrete products and services to meet all of your concrete needs. No matter if it's a residential, commercial, industrial, municipal project, Cajun Ready Mix is ready for you. They have 9 locations, 9 plants around the greater Baton Rouge area, which means if you order concrete, it's going to get to you on time and to the exact specifications. High-quality products, red carpet service, clear safety standards. That's what you get when you go with Cajun Ready Mix. Online at CajunRMC.com. We will talk to Josh Gooden next here and close it out on the Jordy Culotta Show here on this Wednesday, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Hebert's Specialty Meats, home to the finest boudin in South Louisiana. 2 spots right here in Baton Rouge and out in Prairieville. Stop in and see them in the Dutchtown Shopping Center on Highway 73 or right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. Online, abearsmarkets.com, and they're all over social media. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. Hebert's combines perfect seasoning with that authentic Cajun flavor. Find out for yourself. Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway and in Prairieville on Highway 73. abearsmarkets.com. GoFlow IV and Spa, 7970 Jefferson Highway is where you can find them, or you can simply go online to goflowiv.com. GoFlow IV Spa is a medical spa that specializes in IV hydration with vitamin infusion. At GoFlow IV Spa, they can help you with a wide range of issues, from skin care to illness recovery, athletic performance, hangover cure, chronic illness, and even chronic dehydration. GoFlowIV.com or stop in and see them, 7970 Jefferson Highway. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Appreciate everybody's interaction here. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button on our post. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube page just yet, make sure you are subscribed before you get out of here today. Hit that bell if you want to know when we go live. We've been doing a little bit more content, and I can promise you when we get into the new DL, which is coming up here before the first of the year, we're going to start pumping out a ton more content for you here on the station. So stick around as we'll be here on YouTube, Facebook, JordyCulottaShow.com, and we'll be doing cool and exciting stuff like learning about fan-driven fundraising to provide your team and players with NIL contracts. This gives the opportunity to the fan to really buy players, to pay players. Let's cheat, boys.
Yeah, let's get in the game.
Let's cheat. Who we want? 5 stars, 4 stars. Our guys over at our people over at Crowd Push.
Got our mids down here.
Crowdpush.com is the website. Josh Gooden is his name. He is the chief marketing officer. And Crowd Push is new to the scene, and we're going to learn all about it here before we get out of here on this Wednesday. Josh, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Jordy. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. So we're giving fans the opportunity to put money in players' pockets. Is that right?
That's the short and long of it, pretty much. You got it.
Okay, how do we get there?
All right, so maybe best to start with a little bit of context. If you look at the way most of these NIL contracts have come out thus far, you see really 2 sort of major ways it plays out. First, you see big brands like a Nissan coming in and sponsoring a player. Nissan came in and sponsored Bryce Young at University of Alabama, $1 million. And you see a few of those, but a lot of what you see is more like local, medium-sized businesses sponsoring a portion of the team. You saw a company called Bill Forrest down in Utah. They came in and sponsored every walk-on at BYU. And now BYU has a 120-man squad instead of an 85-man squad. You see players, or rather, like a restaurant down in University of Texas, right across the border here. They came in, and because the name of the restaurant is Burnt In, they've given cash to every tight end on the University of Texas football team. And kind of the way we saw that is a couple of key people left out of the process. And so that's where we sort of jumped in. Happy to go at that if you want me to explain exactly how we work.
Absolutely. Please.
Yeah. Okay. So really we see that there's a couple of different groups that are being completely left out of the process. And the first one of those is the fans, right? Every fan, we sit on the couch every Saturday and we watch these teams and we root for them. And NIL sort of happening to us. We don't really have a way to participate in it. It's been something that's going on and we're watching and hoping for the best, but there's really not a way for us to participate. Another group of folks that gets left out are frankly most of the players. If you go back to the Bryce Young example a minute ago, there's an O-line that stands in front of that kid every Saturday. And those guys really haven't received anything as far as NIL goes. Yet the guy they're protecting has received, $1 million, $2 million at this point. So they're grinding it out. They're doing their 9 to 5. They're going to school on top of that, and they're not really getting compensated. And then we sort of discovered a third group along the way that's really hesitant to jump in. You've got medium and small businesses that are not sure they want to tie their brand to a young person. You see what happened up at Duke a couple of weeks ago. You see that young man up there got a DUI. So brands are reasonably hesitant to put their name against one of these young players. And so that's where we've stepped in. We've created a crowdfunding mechanism. We're called Crowd Push. We create pushes. And so the fans can contribute to the push over the course of the season. And then we're going to take the money that the fans contribute and we're going to distribute it to the entire team equitably at the end of the season. So you, the fan, get to jump in and contribute and participate with the team. And we're not Nissan. We're not looking for $1 million for one player. We're looking for every fan, $20. Everybody give a little bit, and it's going to make a big difference to the teams.
If you're a fan, can you, like, if you want to give money, can you give it to a specific player, or does it just go into that pool of money that's then distributed out later?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in the long run, we're going to probably create a mechanism by which we can go after specific players. But right now, we want to make sure that we're providing every player with an opportunity to receive some cash. I mean, if you look at some of the things that Saban and Sweeney have said the players it's distracting. So we're creating a mechanism where they can just sort of check in and watch it. They don't have to do a whole lot. So in the long run, the short answer to that is yes. In the short term right now, we're focused on the whole team. And on the equitability side of it, we're not just focused on basketball, or rather football, or even just men's sports. If you were to go to the site now for LSU, you'll see women's gymnastics, you'll see women's basketball, you can see men's basketball, you can see the football team we're collecting for next season for the football team. So it's pretty broad as far as what we're doing already.
As we can see on that website right now, Alabama football's in the lead, so we need to change that.
He's meant from Fairhope, I believe.
Saban's personal funds.
Yeah.
No comment.
Now, are there any responsibilities tied to the athlete, or is it just like they don't have like appearances or posts or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we don't want to be too burdensome on the players, right? These guys have a responsibility to the team. So what we want to be able to do for them is really give them an easy way to participate. So what we're going to require of them is at the end of the season, we take all that cash, we're going to create NIL contracts with each and every player. And we're going to set up a way for them to just basically make social media posts through the course of the season and just support what we're doing. Say, hey, pay attention. This is good for the players. This is good for us. And really encourage fans to do that. We're also going to ask that they participate in an interview, right? So we're going to sit down with players and very much like a 60-minute style interview, and just interview like that offensive line we were talking about a minute ago. There's really not been a good way for the fans to feel like they're connected to the players. So on top of all the crowdfunding stuff, we're going to start to create some of these interviews that create that connection, right? Really bring the fan into the team and what's going on and inside their headspace. And so that's kind of the limitations of what we're going to ask. It's not broad because we want to make sure they stay focused on winning games.
Who distributes the money?
We do. So that's a great question, Jordy. One of the things that is not clear, I think, to a lot of people without having a conversation with us is the effort that we've gone to be above board. So we've got 3 teams of lawyers, and one of those teams of lawyers has read every NIL state law that's been put on the books.
Jesus,
every piece of
how long
guidance
did
the
that
NCAA has put out.
He's still in the basement.
Glad it wasn't me.
Found my stapler.
You're right, exactly. But it means that we're creating a verified, above-board legal way for fans and small businesses to contribute, right? And there's always going to be a paper trail. There is always a contract at the end of a push. And that's what separates us from, I think I heard somebody a minute ago mention something along the lines of GoFundMe. What makes us so very different from GoFundMe is whenever you contribute to a GoFundMe, maybe that house for that veteran is going to get built. But with us, there's a paper trail. You know that you gave your cash, we collected your cash, we gave it to the player or the team that we said we were going to give it to. So that makes us a little bit different.
So how can our listeners become involved immediately?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things. I'd say that if somebody is, intrigued but a little bit unsure, you can go and email us, just info@crowdpush.com. And you can get right to the leadership team, and we'll engage with you, answer your questions, try to give you a little bit of comfort about what we're doing. And then if you want to just jump on the site, right now, again, we've got 4 different sports up for LSU. As you pointed out, Alabama is in the lead at the moment. Quick thing, I think Mississippi State's about to pull an end around and come on hard with the baseball team from some stuff that we're hearing.
Nice.
Right? I know we've got a Mississippi girl on the call here with us.
We do.
So, I mean, it's an interesting place because there's going to be a little bit of competition that happens, I think, once we start to see the numbers rolling. And just to be clear, the numbers are low now. We just started. We're like 2 weeks old at this point, getting the thing out there.
Wow.
So already getting some traction.
That's
Good for you for taking the taking the jump, man. Crowdpush.com is the website. He's on Twitter @GoodJoshin, and it is Josh Gooden is who we are speaking to, the chief marketing officer.
We'll play on words there
from CrowdPush. We like it, man. We like that here in our space too. So what's the initiative here in the early days? What are you what is your main task? Are you looking for schools? Or are you looking for more people to become engaged in the online donations or the online I guess links to apply the money there?
Yeah, we're looking for people to jump in.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the way this is set up, the schools have to stay pretty hands-off as far as NIL goes. And so we're creating those contracts with the players. Now, if there are players listening, we're doing front-end NIL contracts with some of the players already to help get the name out there. In the tech space, technically we're a tech startup because we got a tech platform. There's something called dog fooding where you use your own technology or your own product to sort of get your name out there. Well, our product is NIL. So we're creating NIL contracts with some players and some teams right away so that we can get the word out there. But for as far as the fans go, jump in. Get ahead of Alabama. Get ahead of Mississippi State because I think this is going to have a huge impact on the way schools move forward with the way they engage with players. There's definitely some interesting things that are going to happen as a result of this. I mean, like the brand thing. If you're a University of Texas player today, that's great. But if you're a high school kid and you're trying to decide whether to go to Texas A&M or University of Texas, and you're a tight end, and you see the tight ends at UT are getting paid, how does that impact your decision-making process?
Wow. It's a crazy day and times in college sports, man. It's wild to think that this is the stuff that people are going to really be paying attention to. Thank you very much, Josh, for the insight this morning. We'll be checking back in, but get online to crowdpush.com. Check out that website, crowdpush.com. Thanks again for the time.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
You got it.
Josh.
There is Josh Gooden.
That's a really cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
For sure.
If you could go player by player, like they
Right.
proposed,
Like
Jack
I want
Best
to
would be
put
a millionaire this year.
or Walker Howard.
Yeah.
Well, but that's how it should be, though. Like, some of these, because, like, with the NIL deals, he was mentioning a little bit, like, the offensive linemen and some of the guys that aren't, like, the top name guys aren't going to get money, but there's other players on the team that fans love from, like, that team, right? So let's say, I'm trying to think of a guy from LSU, like, let's say, was it
Andrew Hatch.
Was it
That's what I
Torrey
was about to
Carter?
say, Harvard.
It was like
Torrey Carter, yeah.
Right? Like, had the hair, he's crazy, he's a fullback tight end, but, like, he wasn't going to get the NIL deals from Nissan. But the students loved him.
Yeah.
The crowd loved him. Like, hey, I'll dish this guy out $15. Like,
Yeah.
hey, good hit the
the
other
way to
night.
do
Here's
it.
$20.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, God.
And then, it's like stuff like that. It's like,
I don't know if he's thought about that. Like, you can do Bounty Gate through the crowd.
well, they don't see it. I don't know.
I got
It's
500
evolving,
for
and I think
you.
it'll end up being really
You
cool.
take out
And I think
number
the
12.
States are going to get involved too. So
Yeah. No, I love it.
should
I wish.
take off, yeah.
I wish you could get. I wish we could. They could back pay me from when I was in school.
Yeah. I bet.
That'd be
I
fun.
bet. It's got to be crazy to look at these day and times and think about being an All-American on campus
Yeah.
and what it could have been like.
I mean, I had a great time. We won that
I
championship.
don't
So.
think Mikey has a lot of college regrets. I kinda
No,
feel
I love my time here.
But if you could get paid,
Yeah, it would have been awesome to get
yeah.
paid.
call up Uncle Ron.
Change
Yeah.
it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love it. It's okay.
All right, everybody, have a great day out there. We appreciate you starting your day with us for here on this December 1st.
December.
It is officially Christmas
the time
season.
go?
It's unbelievable, bro.
Listen to Christmas carols.
I was about to say, is this Chris? Is
I
this
know I
when it
did. Once
officially-
Thanksgiving ends, it's time.
Yeah, you're in it,
Do
bro.
y'all,
You're in it.
do y'all
You're in
listen
it.
to it at the house?
No, I have it on my car. Holly station on Sirius
Oh, you do? You
XM.
listen to
Oh,
it
so
in the
you
car?
like to listen to it?
Wow,
I love it.
Mikey.
Puts me in a good mood.
That's how I can tell you.
I
All
played
day?
with a guy. No, not all day. Like usually, like in the morning for a
Little
little
spurt.
bit. Yeah, and then I usually listen to like a
Get a little
podcast.
jump.
But just like, hey, a good day. Like, all right. Kinda
Hot
like,
cocoa in
Little
your
Mariah.
room.
I used to play
Little
with a
Mariah.
guy.
Yeah.
I'd play with a guy. I'd play with a guy in Tampa, who
Listen to it year round.
would listen. Like if he was like kind of one of those lulls in the middle of the
Slumping?
season, he doesn't feel good. And he's kind of like in a bad mood. He'll put on Christmas music, bro. And, like get his spirits back up. I'm like, I like that. I respect that.
What a move!
Also
I
can't
know.
stand, but I also can't stand the Christmas in July, like the halfway mark.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
like that.
like
Nobody
don't
wants
do
that.
nobody do. Minor league teams do that.
Well,
Well, that's just a ploy.
That's a big
bro,
old
yeah.
get fans in. Like nobody want like that. Like I just struck out and listened to Mariah Carey. All I want for Christmas is you. Give me the fuck out of here. Shut up.
I'm
Turn
like,
it off.
This is like an insane asylum.
That made me put on a red nose.
Oh man,
Well, like, you
dude.
should
it's-
record a Christmas album.
I mean, you
Your
saw me
vocals
sing
are
yesterday.
So great. I put it out there.
And
for all
also,
to see.
is a Christmas album the most recorded album of all time?
Yeah, well,
Doesn't
I
matter.
think it's just it's the biggest fallback.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what I mean? It's like,
Like,
it's the
dude, like,
easiest play.
You just
They're
need
not.
one
they're-
hit,
and
too.
most of them suck.
Run DMC.
Yeah.
They don't
So they
suck.
got one. They got
Yeah.
one hit.
Yeah.
I mean, R.I.P. DMX, but
no,
greatest Christmas album of all time.
Not one hit at all, but like they've got
One
one
Christmas
Christmas hit.
album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
there
okay
are a
there.
lot of people like that. It's weird.
Otis Redding. One or two. Just
Who's your favorite Christmas?
Oh, Rat Pack.
Yeah.
Rat Pack is the
Ooh,
best
I love
one by
that.
far. That's the only one I'll listen to. Because I could, as a band, I could tell you've never had to work like the retail life. Because Christmas music starts absolutely like as soon as
Like after Halloween.
Yes. Oh my God, and it's all day, all day.
I like a little Michael Bublé. Christmas.
Wow.
I can't even listen to
Yeah.
Christmas music after that. You're stuck with it forever.
I kind of like. I like Motown's Greatest.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
like
one,
that.
too.
I like
The Steel?
Aaron Neville has some good
That's
songs.
some good ones.
Yeah.
That's some good ones.
No.
Tyler, the Creator, has a
Stevie,
great
the old
album.
Stevie Wonder's old school Stevie Wonder, young Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. Jackson
When he was
5,
blind.
Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he was blind.
He got his sight back. It's a miracle. You sing enough.
Favorite Christmas
Yeah.
song? Do y'all have one?
Oh, the kinky one.
Kinky.
I
saw
And
mine.
baby, it's cold
outside.
outside. I mean, he's not letting her get out the house. I mean, it's just got no shot.
You just carry her well-being. Is all he's worried about.
Yeah, it's too cold out there, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's too
right.
dangerous.
Have one more drink.
Have
What
a
are you
couple
talking
drinks,
about?
you can't drive,
You
you
can't
jump.
drive.
Come here. Let me show you this.
Yeah. Come to the back.
Ray Charles.
Oh man, what's your favorite song?
I don't have favorites anything.
You don't
That's
like
something you
Christmas?
don't know about me yet. I
Wow.
don't choose a
I
favorite.
think you do have a favorite. You just
We've
don't want
been
to
through
verbalize
this
it.
before.
We've
been
never
through this
talked
before.
about-
Yes,
I
we
don't
have.
know if you've ever spoke that out into existence.
I think
that
you have
have.
favorites. You just don't want to admit that you have a
No,
favorite.
I don't.
What's
I
your favorite
don't.
color?
I don't have a favorite color.
Mm.
I don't like to narrow anything down
Well, that's-
to
but
one favorite
in
thing.
your
I
head-
think
What's your
that's-
favorite drink? What do you
I
order?
don't have a favorite
Who's your
drink,
favorite
but
husband?
right now, right now,
Noah.
I'm into tequila. Noah. So yeah, I don't do favorites. I don't like people
okay.
to like box
So
me
what's your
in to
favorite
choose
tequila?
A favorite. Fortaleza. I do.
Oh,
Right now.
shut her
But
up.
it'll change when everyone starts drinking it. It'll change.
Oh, you don't like to be what everybody's doing.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
That
I
makes
got it,
sense.
I got
I
it.
don't.
That makes sense.
Josh Gooden
gotta
is
be
in the
exhausting.
chat answering questions.
not.
If you have any
What do you
questions
mean?
about crowd push. If you've got any questions about it, Josh Gooden is in the chat right now answering questions. Jeff Marcone is puking to Mariah's Christmas.
Of course, Jeff is.
Well, I mean, there's only one song, right? For that Mariah
her?
sings.
Yeah,
that's
All
really
I
the
Want
jam.
One for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very.
I'm sure
I
she
mean,
has others, but that's the one.
Right, but that's the one.
That's Mariah's
That's the
brand.
one.
She's
That's the
very obsessed with herself.
She
Like
is
that's
very
right where
obsessed
that's
with
right in her
herself.
lane.
Being
She's an
Cosby,
A-lister, bro.
That's another good one.
Is
Is
she
she
still?
still?
She was kind of no. She was back. I said she was an A-lister.
okay.
Oh.
I mean, she was kind of creeping around the Last Dance. Like you could
Yeah.
see, like kind of Mariah was
Oh,
kind
that
of
was her come up?
She was kind of that was probably her prime.
Remember when she in the '90s when she
That's what I'm
started?
saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, when
Like,
she was hooking up with Jeter.
Jeter
yes,
Eminem.
Right.
kind of looked like her and MJ had a little something,
Probably.
kind of
Bro.
like
Derek Jeter's the man.
I'm sure, especially
I mean,
in baseball circles.
Have you seen his
The
like
greatest.
his starting lineup?
yes.
Oh, yes.
Of girls that he's dated.
It's unbelievable.
It is. I mean,
It's
if you think of someone that
Why
was,
not?
if you think of somebody that was the top of the profession and like the most attractive actress, singer, model, he
did it.
Yeah, that's true.
They got a gift basket. What's even
Yeah.
more incredible
and he'd
to
walk him out the back,
uh-huh.
and he had a chauffeur take him home.
Cars. He did it right.
I mean, he just
And if you like, we don't even know.
and
if
he made no bones about it.
And he was
the best
single.
part about
It was
Yeah,
fine.
right.
He was,
Yeah.
but he just didn't want everybody to see him. Nobody saw him.
The best thing about it is we don't really know like the extent of how much is true and what's not because it was that
Sure.
secretive.
Yeah.
It was
Like
like
the legend.
just
Yeah.
grows about Derek Jeter, so girls kept going. The even the wilder one is Pete Davidson. He's got a scary lineup. He's got a
Yep.
great starting five.
Everyone hot. He dates everyone hot. It's like a
He's funny.
joke.
I think
Don't
they
you
come to
wonder?
him though.
Yeah, funny guy.
think they
like-
were-
I want to
I
know
think
what
they
it
had-
is he has.
What do you mean?
He's got a
Like-
huge
Oh,
he's
penis.
got a huge
He's-
penis.
He's got a
Clearly
huge
He sung like a
something.
horse.
No,
he sung
it's
like
already-
he sung like Brian
it's been
Kelly.
documented.
How has it been documented?
One of his girlfriends
Yeah,
came
on
on
the,
set.
I think
Yeah.
Ariana
Right.
Come on,
Grande
say,
said.
yeah.
Like Ariana Grande or
Yeah,
somebody
they
like
said
that.
like
Yeah.
he has.
It's got to
big
be
dick.
something. I mean,
It's-
like I think
Which
he's
is
great. I love
great
his
for his
personality.
brand, which is why Brian Kelly is trending right now. I mean, I'm telling you.
I get why Pete Davidson gets that action though, because he's the ultimate rebound for like a serious celebrity.
Sure.
It's like, go have a little fun with
Absolutely.
Big Dick Pete over here,
Yeah,
Big
well,
Dick
actually,
Davidson.
yeah.
You know his number gets passed around.
Yeah,
You like him
right.
for 2
I'm not
weeks.
trying
like,
to marry anybody.
No, like this
He
guy's
has to be
obnoxious.
so much fun though. I
Right,
mean,
for
he's
2 weeks.
yes.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yes.
okay, all right, that's enough, Pete.
It's over.
Right.
It is amazing.
I
Tired
gotta
of you,
sleep
Pete.
at some point, dude.
And I'm sore for God's sake.
Look at his eyeballs are toast.
I know.
Yeah,
Good
he's
for
always
him, though,
fucked up.
right?
But is
Yeah.
he like?
Good
Is he?
for
I think
him.
he's like gotten better at like not being on so many drugs. right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I would think
ebbs and flows.
I would think the richer you get, the more you're on.
The better you get at hiding it.
And when I saw John Mulaney in New Orleans, he talked about Pete Davidson being at his intervention, and he said that Pete Davidson said everybody's blaming me for this, and John Mulaney said on stage, he was like, it's not him, like weed, yes, but like he really isn't like into like a ton of hard drugs.
Oh,
Sure, Pete.
Sure, Pete.
Was, but I think he's got it under control. But it was funny that Pete said everyone's blaming me for your downfall.
Imagine going to somebody else.
Try this.
I know, right?
But imagine going to somebody else's rehab and be like, dude, this is about me. It's not my fault.
I know, exactly.
I'm sorry for your suffering, but I didn't do this.
Have a great day. Happy anniversary, Go Chevrolet. Tell Lee Carney and Nick Richard 1 year.
Oh, that's
1
awesome.
year in business.
Good for them.
1 year in business today.
It's like Brian Kelly and Scott Woodward, us and Go Chevrolet, tied together.
Yep. Tied together forever.
We got to get that Scott Woodward
we need that
print,
8 year,
front and
$95 million. Go.
Yeah.
Time to renegotiate.
We need that 10-year, $95 million, like Scotty just handed over to
I'll take the escalators clause.
to BDK.
You're gonna email and say, "Oh, we're no longer sponsors anymore. We're gone. See ya."
Right.
Can't do that.
PDK.
BDK. We will be at BDK's press conference today at noon.
Wait, what's BDK?
Oh yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Have you not seen the picture?
Sorry.
I think you got a baseball cup
I
on.
got it.
He may have. Maybe that was a great move by
That'd
him.
be a great play.
Wow.
The wind caught it perfectly. The picture is like
Angle.
set up.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just-
everything.
Poor guy. Does he know?
Poor
Poor
guy.
guy.
Does he know this is being talked
Oh,
about?
Oh, man,
Has
you
to.
wake up so happy. Like,
Has to.
I'm here.
Has to, because it was going viral yesterday.
I mean, it's out.
I mean, it was all over the
all
place
is,
yesterday.
no pun intended.
And I mean,
It's all over
was.
the place yesterday.
The captions, all the comments were great. I mean,
Isn't that the serial killer's name? BDK? Who was that? There was some serial killer whose initials were that.
BTK.
Was that right? Was that
Yeah.
it?
Who's that?
BTK?
BTK killer.
are you for sure over there?
Which
Yeah,
killer?
I don't know what he
Are you
did. but I-
80% sure or are you 100%?
I'm 100% sure I don't know what he did, but I know that's his name.
Oh,
Well,
you know
killed
it's
people.
BTK. Okay.
But it's not
people.
BDK.
Rebecca would know. She's
There's
big
only,
into.
there's only one BDK.
Oh, Dennis Rader, American serial killer, BTK.
All right.
Let's go,
Nice
dude.
grab there,
Why was
Lizzie.
he called BTK?
Like to bind, torture, and kill.
Ooh.
So those were his initials. He wrote he tried to get caught a bunch of times. They're jogging my memory.
That's what they do.
Okay.
Yeah, he like,
Okay, all
but he
right.
was like bad
Here we
at
go.
it.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Throw it
all
up.
He would like
Throw it up.
Yeah, he would like call in to like the police and like leave like random letters and like poems and like write music. And they're like, dude, this is kind of shitty. Like your clues suck.
Yeah, I
like,
think I do remember something about that.
Yeah, so I think he
Was
was
he like 70s or like modern day?
80s, 90s. I want to
Okay.
say. I think
Yeah, it
this
wasn't
was.
too long
Do you remember
ago.
Mindhunter on Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this is his. That's what the show's about.
Oh,
him.
okay.
The second season is the BTK season.
Bind, torture, kill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Find me in the chat.
Jeez, I know. Some sicko.
Well,
out
can we
there.
can we throw something out light out there? But let's not end on the serial killer
Oh,
talk.
60s.
60s?
Between 74 and 91. Had a great run. 10 people dead.
74 to 91?
What a
That's
great
how
run.
long he killed?
Yeah.
That is a long
That's a-
time. to
that's a
not get
dynasty.
caught, huh? Well, there was no DNA evidence back then either, so.
Oh, you
Yeah.
tell that to
You
Dennis
know.
Rader. He left his DNA everywhere.
Well, I know now, but then you couldn't test for that, right?
He's not going to get out.
No, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
I think it was
didn't
like
have that
late 80s.
when
Yeah, he
that
would-
first
Because like
started.
OJ was one of the
That was one of the
early
first, right?
big cases of DNA
Yeah.
that you were able to like,
Yes.
Boy, what a
and they screwed that all up.
yeah, well, what a get off by that
Isn't
guy.
that crazy?
Unbelievable.
Could you imagine?
I fell down an OJ
Fell down the steps.
hole.
Oh,
yes.
rabbit hole. You went down a rabbit hole.
on YouTube where you
That's
just
what it does. YouTube does.
some of these like post trial interviews
Yeah.
that he would do, and you want to talk about freak you out. This guy, dude.
Well, they did American Crime
mean-
Story on him. Did you watch that? The people that do American Horror
Yes,
Story did that,
yes.
and it was great.
I haven't
But
seen
the,
it. I
Yeah, you gotta
Oh,
watch it.
The interviews that he's doing like in the khaki sweater
Yeah.
from his house, where he is like pleading with you of this is what happened, and it's almost like, dude, stop.
It's over.
Yeah.
Like, just shut up. I mean, it's
Well,
you're. And then on one interview, it's with the redheaded British lady who got all these like exclusive interviews
Yes.
back in the '90s. Rose was her name.
Yes.
Rose
What was
something.
her freaking
Get her
name?
name. She gets OJ like 3 months after he comes out of seclusion, like after the not guilty verdict comes down. Like OJ like falls off the map for like 3 months. Like they
Yes.
put him in like some
Got to.
secluded home, like where he like has to like go get your mind right, bro. Like get
The retreat
out of
at
jail.
Malibu.
You know what I mean? Like, you're free, go get out of jail. And the first interview he does is with this
Judith Reagan, the If I Did It interview. Is that the one you're talking about?
redheaded.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's a 4-part series.
Okay.
And the way that he ends this interview is, I mean,
What does he say?
No, he doesn't say anything. He knocks on the door and has a banana in his hand, and he acts like he is stabbing her when she opens
So
the door.
bizarre.
And he's like, bom, 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 bom. And she's like, OJ? And he's like, and he's kind of like gruffling, and he's like, and she's like, OJ, and she's like kind of gruffing, and he opens the door and he goes, ah, and that's how the thing ends. And dude, it makes your hair like, I mean, like when I saw, I was like, holy I was like, is that OJ? Like, did somebody?
Oh my
How
god!
did they get him to do
And
this?
then, I'm telling you, this is like in '96.
Yeah,
you know what I
pretty
mean?
much.
Like this is like fresh off of the trial, man. And
Wow.
he ends the whole interview, and she kind of like, and they, like, she knows how to.
She got him.
She's like flirting with him.
Oh, yeah,
She's
yeah.
like getting all
Right.
close to him, so he's like breaking down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's like starting to be OJ again. Like I'm.
The juice.
Yeah, right. I'm the juice. He's like pointing out, like, there's Bundy right there. There's you know, like, I mean, like, he's like kind of like, and she gets him so loose. I'm telling you, look it up.
Wow.
It is the freakiest ending of it, and it just goes black, like it just goes dark. Like, I mean, like, and they're like run the script
Credits.
of like the credits of like, and you're just sitting there like,
Whoa.
Whoa.
I wanted him to be innocent so bad.
He is.
Well, he was.
well, he is innocent.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, I wanted him to have not done it. To have
Well,
not really
he
killed them
didn't.
and gone through all
Still
that.
don't know.
I met
And
him.
you still don't really
Met him
know.
in Las Vegas
Did
on the
you?
golf course.
Did you ask him? Did you do it?
I did wear my glove for the picture, though.
You did.
That's funny.
Do you think he did it?
Hell yeah, he did
Yeah,
it.
absolutely did.
Everyone thinks
Absolutely
he did
did
it.
it.
But-
Everyone's in agreement.
Oh, okay.
CBL Jr. says, great deflection from awkward old man junk conversation, serial killer, and slasher talk.
Thank you, CD.
Welcome to the Jordy Culotta
after
Show. Make sure
9,
and
dude.
like and share. What the hell is
BTK.
that noise, dude?
That's a car.
Okay.
Oh,
I
God.
thought that was a jet firing up.
Or like central air and heat we had in here all of a sudden.
I didn't know if it was, I didn't know Jordan wrestling around with the jerky again. Got the shot.
All right, have a great day.
What?
Wow.
All-time showstopper.
happened?
Nothing, we're good.
Okay.
All right, have a great day. We're driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Happy anniversary to everybody at Go Chevrolet over there. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.